Why not take the gun or something? Because at that point, all it is stupid. It leaves this mystery of an idiot wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a stupid fucking delusion or something. It makes no sense. It leaves me guessing in these weird, dumb ways that don't matter. They're just dumb wastes of time or whatever, you know? Dumb wastes of time. It doesn't track. It's like their whole fucking brain is wired that way or something. It doesn't track. It's just like, what? Like, I don't understand it. It never makes sense. It just seems stupid to me, you know? I'm just saying. Makes sense, damn it. Idiot.
Seeing the DS's lifetime sales of 154 million units, and the Switch still has a little bit of life left in it as the next...
No, the Switch still has a lot of life in it, because for the next 10 years, they're all gonna fucking retro game on the Switch. Remember when Splatoon 2 was good before they made 5 more? Remember when Metroid was good before they made 5 more? And they're going to keep buying Switches for another 10 years. Did you think they were going to stop? And they're going to fucking leave them on the cell phone. Or, you know, they're going to leave them on the table and their friend jacks it and never tells them. Or, you know, they're going to leave it on the fucking... they're going to leave it on the bus. Or they're going to leave it on the Uber. Or their dad's going to take it away. And they're at their mom's house now. And they need their Switch fixed. And trust me, they're going to keep buying Switches for another 10 or 15 years. This isn't going anywhere. We're stuck with it. One of the weakest consoles of all time, if you actually look at it, what its competitors are.
Be out until sometime
God,
next
we're
year.
stuck with
Speaking
it.
of which, Nintendo low-key announced the Switch 2 this past week. I mean, sort of, but not really. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa took to Twitter this week, and here's what he had to say, quote,
I'm stuck with the stupid.
Clearly won, end quote. Is it too late to make jokes about Kendrick and Drake? I feel like I missed that chance last week. No, what Furukawa actually said was this, quote, this is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal
It's
year.
Skycat.
Before 31 March 2025. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation, end quote. So there you have it, a showcase coming in June, and while he did rule out a Switch 2 reveal, he didn't rule out a Silk Song announcement. We've got to create false hope where we can, ladies and gentlemen. There was one other spot of Nintendo news this week. They're disabling their Twitter integration. So this is another example of just how badly Elon Musk has screwed Twitter. This past generation, all three platforms added a share button to their controllers and their interface, and that button would almost always lead to Twitter, allowing you to seamlessly post screenshots or videos directly from your console. That's a pretty powerful thing for a social media platform to accomplish, literally changing the hardware configuration of all 3 major platforms to accommodate the power of your reach. Of course, when Elon let that sink in, he decided that any company looking to hook into Twitter's API should pay for the privilege of generating content.
Of course
for his
they should.
platform.
Of course they should. He's, you know, he owns it, so of course they should.
Decided to charge major companies up to $40,000.
I'm sorry, but that does not look that good to me. This game does not look that good to me.
As a result, both Sony and Microsoft removed their Twitter integration a while ago, and now Nintendo has...
Why does it look like 2004? It looks like Twilight Princess. What?
Has followed suit. Nintendo announced the disabling of the integration on Twitter, and Twitter Gaming then quote tweeted it, being like, "Oh, our partnership with Nintendo."
The kids don't know. They're all like 15. They just don't know. They just don't know yet. The 20 years passed by, but they're still selling the same games that they sold me when I was 15 to you when you're 15, 25 years later. And that makes no sense, and the kids don't know. It's hilarious. They don't know that all this shit has been around for 25 fucking years. All of it. Everything, every word that he said has been around for 20 years and ripping us off that long. And the last time any of them made a good game was 2004.
Which is total bullshit,
of
course. So much so...
I mean, not From Software. They're not guilty of this, but almost every other development company is.
That the tweet got community noted.
It's been like 15 years of dead games. I'm dead serious. There's been almost nothing revolutionary except for Minecraft, Terraria, Rust, Prophet. I don't know. I can't think of any others. You know, Elden Ring, but I mean that's just Souls-like with a horse. You know. Yeah, like innovation, I wouldn't say they've done anything in 15 years. In terms of development, I heard Only Up was kind of a breakout title. Only Up was supposed to be a very breakout title. I would say Overwatch was a breakout title to a lesser degree, but then they shat on it, you know, and killed it. I don't know.
Ratioed into oblivion. So Twitter Gaming deleted that original tweet and tweeted out the exact same thing, only to get noted and ratioed again. You love to see it. Hey, speaking of really popular CEOs that we all love, let's check in with old mate Andy Wilson, boss man of EA. Been a while since we've heard from him, but he's still the same old Andy we remember. This week he was speaking to investors hyping up the year ahead for EA. He confirmed that there were 2 unannounced titles coming in FY25, the first being a partner title, and no one really knows what that is. The other one is an owned IP title, widely believed to be Dragon Age Dreadwolf. This has been in the works since Noah wore short pants, and it's absolutely do or die for BioWare. Behind the scenes, chatter is this one's actually looking pretty good, which would be fantastic, because it's been a hot minute since a strong BioWare release. By hot minute, I mean 10 years. Wilson would then go on to provide an update on the next...
BioWare hasn't done anything since 2004. Call of Duty hasn't done anything since 2004. Counter-Strike hasn't done anything since 2004. Fucking, you know, I'm serious. Like, and so the kids don't know. They were all born in, like, 1999, something like that, right? Or, you know, a little bit, like, older than that, like 2004 maybe, 99 to like 2008, something like that. They're all like, you know, 12 to 24, something like that, so around there. And none of them they were all like toddlers when these games were popular. Toddlers, I'm talking like 3 years old. They had no idea. They had no idea what a Call of Duty Warzone was in, you know, when they were 3 years old. They just didn't know. But they did by the time they were 10, right? So they caught up quick, but I mean, like, they don't know that all these companies haven't made a good game in 19 years. It's 15 plus 4. It is 19 years. It's been 19 years since the last generation of really, truly good, innovative games. 19 years. And the game that you think is good. Like, Minecraft is good. Minecraft is good. It was an innovative game. It changed the world. Rust is good. I think it changed the world. I think, you know, EvE is good. It changed the world. I think there's some good games out there, but...
in the side of that community, and despite numerous updates and improvements since launch...
Why does everything look like Call of Duty Warzone now?
Never fully recovered.
I don't think it's a good model.
Wilson said that
I never did.
Working on the next Battlefield game is the largest Battlefield team in the history of the franchise, which makes sense because...
Oh, come on, guys. You just fucking titanically flopped on 2042. And now you're making another one 1 year later, basically. Like 2 years later, you're doing another Battlefield or whatever. How long has it been since 2042? 3-4 years, right? I think so. 4 years, and you're already making another Battlefield, but the last one didn't even sell... And you already cantankerously tanked, so your solution is to throw more developers at it? I think it's... I mean, I suppose that's a valid strategy, you know? Maybe more developers will somehow fix this. But what it sounds like to me is more industry layoffs in about a year. When their fucking crappy Battlefield game that they tack together with some fucking glue and some fucking duct tape like 2042... fucking cantankerously tanks again. You know what it sounds like when you say, oh, it'll be the biggest fucking development company that's ever worked on a Battlefield game. Yeah, DICE has been dicey for 10 years. DICE has been dicey, you know? So, like, whatever, I don't know, man. Go hire more developers, but it sounds like more industry layoffs, and I'm not sure DICE can take another goddamn PR hit. You already fucked up Battlefield. What else do you have? You know?
Because there's now multiple studios on this game.
You stopped Bad Company? Why did you stop Bad Company? Bad Company 1 was such a fucking good game. It was a breakout game. It changed my life. Why did you stop making Bad Company?
Wilson says he's been playing it.
Why did you make 2042?
And you wouldn't believe it, but he loves it. And he also says it's going to be a, quote, tremendous live service.
Bullshit.
End quote.
Bullshit. There's no way you are saving There's no way you are saving yourself from that. Like, but with these lies, the community, the Actmans of the community, right? The community full of Actmans, they're not going to forget 2042. Do you think they're like elephants? They'll never forget it.
Speaking to dead-eyed investors who froth at the thought of recurring revenue.
Dead-eyed investors.
To us hear that and groan as we recount the myriad live service flops over the past decade, including the last Battlefield that
2042.
Released. I wish I could say, I'm sure EA has learned their lesson and won't repeat the same mistakes.
No,
if there's one thing I can be sure of, it's that the learning capacity of corporations is directly proportional to their quarterly earnings shortfall. If EA dies and its supporting studios get time enough to make a good Battlefield game, chances are we'll get a good Battlefield game.
No.
If old mate Andy needs to dump another half-baked...
Because I don't like Battlefield anymore. You ruined it. So you could say Battlefield 6, Battlefield 7, Battlefield 8, Battlefield 9, Battlefield 10, Battlefield 11, Battlefield 12. It doesn't matter. I didn't buy it past Battlefield fucking Bad Company 2. I gave up on you so long ago. Didn't buy 3. Oh, I mean, I did. I bought 3 for $5 on the PSN store for the PlayStation 4. And I bought 4 for $5 on the PlayStation Network store. And I own Battlefield 3, and I own Battlefield 4, and I own Battlefield Frontline, and I own Battlefield 1, and I paid a total of $20 for all 4. And I don't know how me paying $20 for all 4 of your recent games in history is keeping your company alive, and B, like, or A, and then B, like, will more developers fix this problem?
His yearly earnings KPIs, then he will do just that. And if he still misses his quarterly earning targets, you know what he'll do? Put ads in your games. Seriously, this is something he talked about at the same event. He was asked a question about the potential of putting ads in games, a topic that EA has spoken about in the past and experimented with, in fact, like when they put full-screen ads for the boys in UFC 2020, and people got so pissed off that EA had
full-screen ads.
To be discouraged. Andy is still on that, responding to the question thusly, quote, "We have teams internally in the company right now looking at how we do very thoughtful implementations inside our game experiences. I think it's still early on that front, and we have looked over the course of our history to be very thoughtful about advertising in the context of our
They ran ads during a video game. Like they ran commercials. Are you saying that they ran commercials during a video game? Are you saying that they ran commercials during a video game? Oh my god. Are you saying that they ran commercials for the boys? During a match of a live service video game. Screw the game and screw the boys. I'm not doing either. Right.
But again, as we think about the many, many billions of hours spent playing, creating, watching, and connecting, and where much of that engagement happens to be on the bounds of traditional game experience, our expectation is that advertising has an opportunity to be a meaningful driver of growth for us, end quote. So, there you go. Something to look forward to in the next tremendous live service from EA, I guess.
Disaster.
EA have delivered consistently strong
next live service disaster.
Not so for beleaguered publisher Square Enix, who have truly stumbled this past generation despite having a number of
right on. Let's talk about Square, because they're right up there. I think they need some help, and I think they need some Western help, and I don't know what it is. I propose there that Blizzard and Square merge. Why not? Why can't we have a co-Final Fantasy, co-World of Warcraft world? Why can't we? We could even connect the worlds. Fuck it. I mean, whatever. But I doubt that Squaresoft likes Blizzard. I doubt it. I doubt that Yoshi P likes Bobby Kotick. I really doubt it. I fucking doubt it. I like Yoshi P. I don't like Bobby Kotick.
service path with games like Babylon's Fall, and also saw them try their hand at various blockchain and NFT scams. At the same time, they put out bangers like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Octopath Traveler 2, numerous excellent Final Fantasy XIV expansions, and they even published Power Wash Simulator. Bet you didn't know that was a Square Enix.
Well, that was cool.
It's
yeah.
all coming home to roost for Square
game.
Enix now, though. In their most recent earnings report, they declared an extraordinary $140 million loss, owing largely to them recognizing losses associated with cancelling a bunch of projects. Profit was down a staggering 70% year-on-year, with Square Enix saying, quote, "We launched many titles, but some failed to live up to profit expectations, especially outsourced titles and some AAA titles," end quote. The AAA titles they're referring to probably includes Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which despite being a critical success, is selling approximately half of what Final Fantasy VII Remake did. No doubt hurt by the fact that it's a PS5 exclusive, where the previous game was also available on
what were
PS4,
you thinking?
which had a much larger install base. A few days after this earnings call, Square Enix announced a major strategic overhaul that would see them aggressively pursue multi-platform games and bring more of their development efforts in-house. Square specifically called out their desire to be on all platforms: PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, and they even said that mobile will be on the table for their PC launches. Square said that the projects they cancelled were given the chop because they didn't align with this new strategy, indicating that at least some of them might have been platform exclusives, probably PS5. They also said that they plan to prioritize quality over quantity going forward, so I think we can expect fewer of those smaller JRPGs, which I know will come as a disappointment to some. They concluded by saying that they plan to rebuild their overseas business divisions from the ground up, though that is unlikely to be development studios. It's probably going to be PR, marketing, and regional publishing support. Square Enix calls these plans medium term, meaning that they should be executed inside of 3 years. A tough transition for Square Enix to make, but hopefully one that pays dividends, since Square Enix has felt shaky for some time, and we definitely don't want to lose them. Last bit of major news for the week was an update from Warner Brothers on the performance of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice.
Yeah, why didn't you put those games on PC? Isn't that a simple thing for you? You just go talk to Microsoft and say, hey, we'd like to put, or whatever, Gabe Newell, or not, Gabe Newell, and say, hey, we want to put all of Squaresoft on Steam. And Gabe Newell's like, sure. Right? But it seems that Squaresoft doesn't know how to run their own company well enough to do that anymore.
League, and I hope you're sitting down for this because you're not going to believe it.
I'm sure there's some money and deals that have to be cut there that make it hard or whatever. But I don't know, man. Console exclusives in 2024? Do you really love gamers if that's what you're thinking in your bottom line?
It totally flopped. The Warner Brothers CEO hosted an earnings call, and there he reported on Warner Brothers' recent disappointing performance, saying, quote, "The $400 million plus year-over-year decline during Q1 was primarily due to the very tough competition we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter, in conjunction with the
Hogwarts Legacy?
disappointing Suicide Squad."
I think they played that game for, 6 weeks or something, and then they were thirsty for more. They were like thirsty for more. 6 weeks later, they were back, and they were like, give us something else, and they were pissed off because Suicide Squad sucked.
Which we impaired, leading to a 200.
They're like ravenous dogs now. They, like, look at how fast they absorb Pal World, you know?
$100 million impact to EBITDA during the first quarter. End quote.
They all think it's some kind of competition now, and it's not. It's all of us having fun. That's all it's ever been. All of us having fun at the same time, online or whatever. They all think it's some competition where they've got to stalk you or act like you're an asshole, and you've got to be like bullied or like, you know, like PvP'd or attacked or something like that or whatever. And like, no, it's all of us are supposed to be having fun right now. You just aren't actually a fun person, so you make it unfun for everybody that you meet. You know? Remember how this was supposed to be us all playing games and having fun? And then you with the garbage human feces for a soul, you know, started turning into this attack thing and trying to make other people feel bad. But remember, they're video games. We're supposed to sit around and have fun. It's not supposed to be this thing where somebody feels bad, ever. You know? No. Even when you beat somebody in Mario Brothers or something, it's never like, fuck you, haha, you know? It's like, great game, you know?
$200 million. It's just commenting that the revenue decline versus last year is a combination of Harry Potter doing really well and Suicide Squad doing not well at all.
Harry Potter did not kill your terrible Marvel fucking game. You chose Marvel, Capcom, or whatever, Marvel Universe. You chose Marvel Universe past 2020. It's your idiot fucking mistake, you know? Pay dearly. Don't back MCU past 2020. They ruined Hollywood. Idiot. If you don't watch the videos on YouTube, fall victim to the fucking... the scam that is MCU then, you know? But I mean, if you aren't aware, the MCU killed Hollywood and they're down, and they're big time down. You know, I don't know why you thought this was going to be so successful. Marvel doesn't mean automatic money. You actually have to make it good.
People haven't heard a peep about the long-term plans for that game. It's all but assured that it's totally Jova.
It's weird because it looks good. It looks good, like, to play.
And the game will go
but
on.
I don't think anyone will ever buy it.
After the data mine content and pre-sold season pass stuff is out the gate.
That's
Concerns
weird.
now turn to the fate of Rocksteady. After what happened to Arcane Austin, we really hope we don't see the same chain of events play out here as well. A quick lightning round to finish off.
I do
PlayStation
hope it
has
happens.
a new boss man, or boss men actually. They just announced that succeeding outgoing CEO Jim Ryan will be 2 people. Herman Hulst, previously head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios, has been appointed to lead the newly named Studio Business Group, focused on making games as well as TV shows and films based on those games. Accompanying him will be Hideaki Nishino, who will lead the newly named Platform Business Group, which includes console hardware, technology, accessories, and network infrastructure. That group also includes third-party relations and partnerships. Very strange to see the empire carved up this way. Interested to see how this experiment will play out. A very odd and still developing story. Double 11 are about to release the many times delayed Prison Architect 2, but before the game is even out, they're announcing that they're stepping off the project and splitting from publisher Paradox. A supporting studio by the name of Koku will now take over and deliver the title. Double 11 said that they couldn't come to an agreement on commercial terms, and so that's that. Really crazy, and you've got to be at least a little worried about how Prison Architect 2 will be when it launches, since not having the main studio around to help push it over the finish line,
I hope it dies.
It's got to result in at least a few issues.
Who the
To say
fuck
nothing
wants
of
to
what it means
build
for
prisons in a
updates.
fucking video game? Fuck your fucking pro prison industrial complex bullshit. I don't care if it's a good sim. You should have picked better subject content than that. In this current climate, where 1 in fucking 4 Americans have faced incarceration in their lives, prison architecture is not a fucking joke to me. Fuck you.
Building for the next Doom game, there's plenty of chatter that we might see an announcement at the upcoming Xbox June showcase, and a recent trademark filing by ZeniMax certainly lends credence to that suspicion.
It's not a fucking
Trademark is
joke.
for IDPFA, which is a cheat code used in
not
the original
funny.
Doom that would give you full armor, all guns and ammo, and all keys. Its software have been quiet since the release of Doom Eternal back in 2020, so 2024 feels about right for a new game reveal. Get ready to rip and tear, though sadly without Mick Gordon providing the music. It's a very sad chapter that we shouldn't soon forget. Pentiment just won a Peabody Award. That's really cool. One of those small games that wins awards, just like Matt Booty wanted. Surely this award and the general critical acclaim that Pentiment received cements Obsidian as an indispensable part of Microsoft's...
Oh, wait, that was a spoiler! You fucking spoiled that! I've been trying to get with her for 2 runs. Oh my god, the kiss with the Pentiment kiss was a spoiler, you asshole. You asshole. I didn't know about the Pentiment kiss. You suck. You suck. I'm on my 2nd playthrough. You spoiled the story majorly for me. Oh, you spoiled the kiss, you asshole. Ah! Edit. You asshole. I didn't know about the Pentiment kiss. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. I'm on my 2nd playthrough. You spoiled the kiss. Ah! Flashed it right on the screen. Damn it. I can't unsee it. Damn it, Ralph. Damn it. Don't spoil story games. Ah. Post anyway. Ah, you fucking ruined Pentiment's second playthrough for me. No, I wanted the kiss. I was digging for it. My whole second Pentiment playthrough was digging for that damn kiss. I was like, wait, I think there's a romance to be had with the cistern lady. And I'm like, God damn it, you spoiled it for me. You spoiled the Pentiment kiss. Don't spoil story games. Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Stable. That's how it works, right? Right? Remedy has
Why did you spoil Pentiment for me, you asshole? What is wrong with you? Did you ever think that might actually be a really big spoiler? You spoil. I didn't know about the Pentiment. You suck. You spoiled the kiss. Spoiler. Dirty, dirty spoiler. Dirty spoiler. God damn it, dirty spoiler. Ah.
Published by Tencent, but was rebooted to be a premium game when market conditions shifted. Now it's been shit-canned altogether, with Remedy focusing their efforts on their existing portfolio.
Well, now I'm never gonna play Pentiment again. Ah, damn it.
Those being Control 2, the Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes, and a co-op shooter set in the Control universe, which, to be honest, sounds kind of rad. Marvel Rivals publisher NetEase has been pulling some serious bullshit with their efforts to promote this game. The closed alpha happened this past weekend, and a bunch of creators were allowed in so long as they signed a contract. A content creator by the name of Seagull tweeted out some of those contract terms, which basically banned content creators from being critical of the game in any way, shape, or form. I haven't seen shit that brazen since the days of Warner Brothers and their Shadows of Mordor contract, which got them into huge amounts of hot water and resulted in a bit of a reckoning across the industry that saw contracts cleaned up. NetEase have since issued an apology calling the terms a miscommunication. Yeah, right, sure. Apparently the game is good, by the way, so this move is just a massive own goal that does nothing but make people skeptical of the final product. Some quick sales and player count numbers for you. Hades 2 has rather predictably smashed it, hitting a peak player count of over 103,000 players in its launch window, twice the highest that Hades 1 achieved.
Single player isometric roguelike, huh? Got 100,000 players, did it? For how long? A day?
Proving that it's easy to sell games when you have over 150 million hardware units floating around out there. Dead Island 2 just passed 7 million players across all
Dead Island 2?
Game Pass. A huge result for a game that absolutely everyone was sure would suck, given the very cursed development cycle it endured.
Maybe I should buy Dead Island 2 is on Games Pass. I'll pay $10 for Dead Island 2 to play Dead Island 2. Really? Let's go see Game Pass real quick. Dead Island 2 is on Game Pass. Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Are you totally sure about that? Did you check? I'm sure he is. I'm guessing he is sure. Is Dead Island 2 really on fucking Games Pass now? No. No. Dead Island 2 is not on Games Pass. Or maybe. No. No. Dead Island 2 is not on Games Pass. Oh, he means like buying it? No, Dead Island 2 is not on in Games Pass. Wait, did he just say that, really?
More than 1 million units, proving that it's easy to sell games when you have over 150 million hardware units floating around out there. Dead Island 2 just passed 7 million players across all platforms, including Game Pass. A huge result for a game.
Dead Island 2 is not on Game Pass. Dead Island 2 is not on Game Pass, buddy. Dead Island 2 is not on Game Pass, buddy. Post anyway, because it's all true.
Game that absolutely everyone was sure would suck, given the
Dead Island 2 is not on Games Pass, but let's go look on Steam because I want it. I wants it, precious. I wants it. I wants it. If you turn off all the voices, it's probably such a fucking good game. If you take all the inanity out of it, it's probably actually a really fucking good game. I like Deep Silver. I think they're a breakout company. It is $60 on fucking Steam. Maybe I should just play Dead Island 1 Remaster, because it's actually a better game, I guarantee it. Probably better, frankly. Oh yeah. I was like, what was I doing? I remember now. I'm repairing this base that nobody took anything from. Seems kind of weird. Yes, I build the bases very badly so they are easy raids, so I have a reason to rebuild or to build a new base, right? Build the bases very badly, I do. Because who cares? You know? I don't care. I build a new base this exact size right now with the materials I have right now. You know? So like I don't really it's weird when they hit me but they don't rob me, because then I just seal up the base again and go about my business. It seems sort of weird. It's sort of like, why waste the time? I don't know. Or at least take the T2? I don't know. On this server, T2s, you can probably get 500 scrap for them on a vendor. Although I don't know, you'd have to set up the vendor. Wall. Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait, you're not burning? No, you're not. Why? Fucking burn. Why are you not burning? That's stupid. What else can be done here? There's nothing else. There's nothing else that can be done here at all. I could put 3 walls, one after another, in a fucking row into the fucking base. That's something that's kind of valid. Because they'd have to blow through all 3 or whatever. They'd have to burn through all 3. The walls themselves actually are a good defense because like they have to do fuel. They have to go get fuel to burn the wall, which takes time. It takes maybe more time than sulfur does, because it's 0.5x. So I don't know. It's all debatable. It's hard to play on these weird levels. I don't know. It's these weird meta games that don't matter. It's hard. It's hard for me to peg it right. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold Q to disable snapping, but no, I want snapping. Yeah, can we just do, like, I don't know. No, we need to do that. Is that it? Yeah, that is it. What happened here? No, I need blue, and I can't get it. It's too... Okay. I suppose the only real solution then... Oh, no, I don't think I can even build there either. It's dumb. Well, I can't... I can get this close right here, but I can't go any further there. It's so stupid. Why? 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 No, that will not work. Well... You know, I don't know. Wait, without stuff getting in the way, I don't know. It's hard to say. I believe I will just pull this base, I guess, and leave. I don't value anything in here except the gun, honestly. Yeah, I'll just, like, pull the base and just leave. I don't care. Like there's nothing here that's actually valuable. Where's that stuff? Yep. And I'll take a hammer. And I don't need the walls per se. The tools are probably good, but I don't need them. I need that. Yeah, and that. And I don't know for sure. I suppose that's valuable. Yeah. Alright, I could probably take those things, yeah. What else? In the TC is metal, scrap, metal, stone, metal, lots of stone, wood, I don't know. Yeah, right? Yeah, I think so. And then all the rest of this can just crumble. And then what else do I not need? I don't need those. I'll take that over that. Nope. Yep. And I'll put that in there. And I think that's good. Yeah, it's fairly good. We'll just let them have it. They worked hard to raid the place. They can have a successful raid. I'll permit it. You know. It's fine. The base itself is fucked up, or I would just recover all of it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done. I don't like how annoying it is, like, to do 3 bases. I think 2's enough. And I learned my lesson the hard way with that. Where the fuck did I do that horse? Oh yeah, I think I brought him over here. Horse died somehow. Did he starve to death? Or what? Okay. Was that horse starving? I don't remember seeing him starving. I don't know. It's fine. What's this? Oh, you're good. This seems like a lot of loot, but it's actually like half an hour of work. It really doesn't mean anything to me, really. I should have brought the research bench. I needed it. It's alright. Oh, so yeah, that video ended, did it? Or did it? No, it didn't. There we go.
Very cursed development cycle it endured. Capcom just recorded their 7th consecutive year of record profit, with sales up 21% this past year alone. That success attributed to Street Fighter 6, Dragon's Dogma 2, RE4 Remake, and ongoing Monster Hunter success. No mention of Exo Primal in there, though. I'm going to guess that one didn't quite pop off in the same way. Sega has also recorded a 20% increase in revenue owing to the success of Persona 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Bandai Namco announced modest growth, bringing them to over 1 trillion yen in net sales. Their growth attributed to the strong performance of Armored Core 6, Tekken 8, and of course Elden Ring, which is still selling strong to this day and about to sell a whole lot more with the imminent arrival of the expansion in June. V-Rising launched into 1.0 and hit an impressive 130,000 concurrent players, so big congrats to Stunlock for that one. And Little Kitty Big City shipped over 100,000 units in less than 48 hours. As I said last week, cat people, the game makers now have your number. So what got announced or delayed this week? Well, that Rogue Prince of Persia game now has an official release date. It was meant to arrive earlier in May, but will now arrive on May 27th. The developers Evil Twin specifically calling out Hades 2 as the reason for that delay. Very smart call. Speaking of Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Red is now officially called Assassin's Creed Shadows. By the time this video is live, that reveal trailer should already be out, so I'll circle back to that one next week. Rumors of a November 27th release for that one, but that is unconfirmed. I'm sure you'll find out before I do, because I will be on a plane when that reveal trailer goes live. A new Jurassic Park game is on the way from Frontier, who earlier delivered Jurassic World Evolution 1 and 2. We assume it's the 3rd game in that series, but they didn't confirm that, so it could be anything. Stay tuned. The Apple Vision Pro is getting a Marvel What If immersive storytelling experience. It's apparently got to do with collecting the Infinity Stones, and you travel the multiverse to meet different variants of your favorite heroes. Not sure how it's going to utilize the capabilities of the Vision Pro, but to be honest, I'd like to find out. So Apple, if you're listening, please send me a Vision Pro. Thank you very much. I promise I was just kidding when I dunked on your awful iPad commercial. Multiverses is getting the Joker, and bonus, he's being voiced by Mark Hamill. That does make it the last time that Hamill's Joker and Conroy's Batman will be together. A bittersweet end to an iconic partnership and collaboration. Asus has announced a new ROG Ally is on the way. It'll get a full reveal on June 2nd, but for now we know it has improved battery life, storage, and RAM. It also comes in black. Nice. And finally, 2 events to shout out.
Don't buy the ROG Ally.
Being hosted on June 8th. In the Summer Games Fest window. It'll feature over 70 wholesome indie games. That is a lot of games, man. Kind of feel like maybe too many. I don't know. The other event is South by Southwest, which started out in Austin before making its way to Sydney. In 2025, there will also be a London show. South by is fantastic for how it profiles independent games and even larger stuff, since they managed to snag some pretty high-profile guests. So I definitely recommend putting it in your calendar if you're at all close to where they're being held, or if you're willing to make a trip. So what came out last week? Well, V Rising hit 1.0, and as I mentioned earlier, it did very solid numbers, achieving over 130,000 concurrent players. Luckily, Stunlock really did wait until this one was fully baked before releasing it, as the user reviews on Steam are tracking very strongly, 87% very positive, and critics are equally impressed, putting the game at a strong 83 on OpenCritic. PC Gamer really loved it, scoring at a rare 89 and saying, quote,
"That's weird.
The developer would have had to have monumentally screwed up to tarnish that already fantastic experience. Instead, with small improvements and more endgame content, it's thankfully just made a great game even better," end quote. While V Rising exits early access, Hades 2 enters it. It was shadow dropped last week, and people are low-key blown away by how much content Supergiant have managed to pack into just the early access offering. Supergiant aren't surprised though, since they warned us, quote, Hades 2 in early access already has more environments, foes, and fully voiced characters than the full version of the original Hades game, end quote. That is insane. With 26,000 reviews counted on Steam, the game already sits at a very positive 94%. Most critics are holding off numbered review scores until it emerges from early access, but IGN's Mitch Saltzman didn't hold back. He finished everything the early access had to offer and was so impressed with it that he scored it a 9 out of 10, saying, quote, Hades 2 feels impossibly huge and unbelievably polished by any standard, much less an early access game. Mel is awesome, the new tweaks to the combat and progression are excellent, and it's just unbelievably feature-packed with twice the content of the first, end quote. Hey, remember when Donkey came out a while back and he said he was going to open a publisher but only publish good video games, and heaps of people laughed at him? Well, who's laughing now? Because his label's debut game, Animal Well, solo developed by a guy named Billy Basso, has absolutely crushed it, and it's already going down as one of the all-time greats in the Metroidvania genre. It's sitting at 96% overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Metroidvanias in 2024?
On OpenCritic. Eurogamer did not hold back, scoring it a perfect 5 stars, saying, quote, I'm astonished by the ease with which it presents its ideas, the joy these ideas bring, and the sheer range of magical stuff it includes, all clipped together in such a satisfying manner. And fittingly, for a game about
it's
wells,
a
I'm astonished by how
Metroidvania.
deep it
Am I
goes,
12?
end quote. Put another way, it's a masterpiece. Was that close enough? It was close enough.
No.
Austin also loved it. He reviewed it. Link below the like button. TLDR, he strongly recommends it precisely because of how much it evolves the Metroidvania formula in ways that you really can't explain without spoiling the game. It's kind of like Outer Wilds in that way. Plus, did you know the entire game is like 30 megabytes large? I don't know what sort of tech wizard this Billy Basso is, but they should detain and study this person because it really does feel like he has too much power to be walking the streets. While Austin was playing Animal Well, I was busy playing Homeworld 3, which arrived exclusive to the PC on the 9th. It's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. On the one hand, it nails the Homeworld vibe, which is kind of the most important thing. The visuals, soundscape, unit design, and missions are all fantastic, but the campaign storyline really sucks. It's just not good. It does not fit the tone of the franchise, and various technical
Then what is it?
issues,
Then what does it have
balance
if it doesn't
issues,
have that?
require some time to iron out. Critics were pretty satisfied with it. It's sitting at a strong 80 on OpenCritic. But the
People
early
like
Steam
it, I
reviews are
guess.
less
That's
enthused,
good.
with the title sitting at a mixed 57%. The technical issues and the inclusion of Denuvo DRM, which absolutely everybody hates. I definitely think this is one worth keeping an eye on. Jumping in when you feel like
I don't know. Denuvo was enough. It's that thing, right? It's that thing I always talk about.
This week, pretty.
It's that thing I always talk about, right? The minute I hear something bad, the chances of me buying that game are zero. Man, I'm talking zero. Like, so you say Denuvo, no Homeworld 3 for me.
Huge week, actually, far more than I would have expected, but a few things snuck in last minute. We knew Ghost of Tsushima was arriving for PC today.
I think I want that today, but the problem is I don't think it's gonna have good performance on this PC with 2 other games the same way that Horizon Forbidden West does. I need a better card for that, like 4090. This game's
Everyone,
too
but now it looks like
graphically
it's only
intense.
for those who live in a country where you can legally create a PSN account. Very much hoping that Sony can sort this mess.
I can't keep spending $60 on remasters. I can't do that.
Also hoping that this Sony port is one of the good ones, since Sony's non-nick.
Yeah, I'll come back to it in a week. But I mean, also they're saying already that that's got a whole bunch of drama with Sony. And I don't know, I bet this game gets fucking torrented really bad, and I might take a torrent on this particular one because A, it was a Sony exclusive, which I don't like. B, I'm scared of the performance thing. C, I will not spend $60 on a game that I originally could have gotten on the PlayStation 4 used for like $13 or something like that. I'm not paying $60 for a remaster on a game that came out 3 years ago. Wasn't it? It was like 3 years ago. Why did you remaster this soon? So when did Tsushima come out? It was like 4 years ago. That's not that long. Why did you remaster a game that came out 4 years ago? I guess we're talking about the... Oh, no, this is a port. It's a port.
Are a bit hit or miss. Definitely more on the miss side. Here's one you should really keep a laser eye on. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. This is from the studio that brought you Sayonara Wild Hearts. This is a very different game here, inspired by the sullen vibes and fixed camera angles of a PS1 survival horror game. Though this is not a survival horror game, it's a puzzle game, one that insists that you use an actual real-life notebook to help solve the puzzles. Edmund's been playing this and he loves it. I've heard similar buzz from other reviewers. Auteur game maker Sam Barlow also loves it. It's arriving for PC and Switch today. Speaking of Edmund, he played Mullet Mad Jack during the most recent Steam Next Fest and also got a kick out of it. It's a corridor shooter inspired by 90s anime, and it's simple but satisfying fun. It arrives today exclusive to PC. Classic WoW nerds, Deathwing cometh again, that is, since we already killed him.
I can't believe you're doing this.
Like 15 years ago. The Cataclysm expansion launches into WoW Classic this week.
Why? That's definitely the territory of not so good anymore. I love Cataclysm, and it was actually, like, you know, not my favorite expansion, but my favorite raid, BFD. But I mean, it's still not good. It's not good. It's not worth doing again.
Literally, I still feel like
it was way too hard for what it was. Like, I remember the first raid, Halphus, and oh god, what was the other one? Bastion of Twilight and stuff. Yeah. If you didn't have a shaman in the raid, you couldn't even complete the first boss, and you had to have Healing Rain, and all that gear and all that work. It all got erased, and then like the first raids were like the hardest that WoW ever was. The first couple of raids of Kata were the hardest that WoW ever got, in my opinion. Specifically because of the stat crunch and the gear squish.
it had all this lava and shit everywhere, and I don't know, man. The Barrens was cool before Deathwing messed with it. Anyway, wasn't sure if Blizzard was going to go this far, but I guess they're doing the whole thing. Next stop, Miss of Pandaria.
I can't believe you're doing that.
I suppose. Biggest release for the week, in my humble opinion, is Hell.
Well, I mean, they set them down that path. They kind of forced them to do WoW Classic, and then the guys didn't stick around. They went to WoW Sod, and I don't know. Or maybe they're all still playing Classic. I don't know, but how are you still playing WoW after 20 fucking years? I don't know. It's beyond me. I can't do that. I'm glad I quit SOD. I feel bad. It's like one of the few times I've ever quit something. But I don't mind quitting SOD. I should have quit World of Warcraft in 2015 and stayed that way. WoW is dead to me now, I think. I should uninstall it. I mean, I paid for a year's sub thinking that WoW sub will remain good. But it got shitty by 40. It wasn't fun. Mostly just walking. Flying all the time. Theme park shit. Totally boring. The economy was good, but that was like the only part I was enjoying at all. I liked my Horde Rogue, but then my old boomer friends in my new guild were kind of disloyal all over and had like kind of a tiff on the Horde server that I leveled on. So I leveled a fucking Rogue to level 30. It was level 30. And I liked the Rogue more than the Feral Druid, but I leveled the Feral Druid figuring I would just, you know, be Alliance Feral Druid and do some healing and stuff. And by level 40, I was like, I really wish I'm on my Horde Rogue. I really wish I was on my Horde Rogue, and I'm not. And if I go to my Horde Rogue, I know that I will be separated from my old friends, and I will be alone on a server full of fucking, like, Alliance that I don't like. You know? And getting swarmed by Alliance, because opposite of my Horde Rogue is Asmongold's crew, Only Fangs, or I'm sorry, are they Horde? I forget, whatever they're, but they're on that server, Living Flame or whatever. Yeah, was it Living Flame? It was Living Flame, I think it was. Yeah, they're on that server, Living Flame, and they definitely dominated the other side of the faction. And I mean, WoW SOD is dead anyways, in my opinion. It was dead by level 25. It was so boring by 25. I was like, I'm sorry, but you guys seem to really like this shit that you did all your lives. I don't know how you're spinning in this fucking loop. Like, I'm doing the Rust loop right now, but, you know, I'll recall to you that I took like a 1.5 year break or something like that. I mean, I did a couple of clan things with my old clan, but I have not played Rust that much until now. Like, I sat at 4,500 hours for a year and a half or something like that. I'm just now getting to 4,800 a year and a half later. It took me a year and a half to pull 300 hours, you know? And I watched it and I kept it that way. Okay, so this base has 56 hours. We'll go back to check the main and make sure there's no fuckiness or anything. I want to put down this box so I can put my loot away. Rust has, like, nothing new in it anymore that's worth it to me. And that's kind of a problem. Like, I figured they would have more content, like they would be doing more content or something, but I don't know. Like I figured it would be a lot of tugboat stuff coming through, and they were just going to flood with content now, but it didn't actually happen like that. It was just the tugboat. That was it. And I can't get a tugboat on this fucking server without raiding somebody. I mean, I guess I could just blow up the tugboat and then haunt the fucking harbors until one appears, you know? How do tugboat spawns work? I can't get a straight fucking answer. Rust, how do tugboat spawns work? Right. In Rust, tugboats spawn at the docks of smaller large harbors. 2 tugboats spawn at each harbor monument. 2 tugboats spawn. I haven't even seen any. And most maps have 2 harbors, so there are generally 4 tugboats per map. However, tugboats are rare and only a few spawn per map. If a tugboat is destroyed, another one will spawn at the harbor after about 30 minutes. So I guess the real solution to my tugboat problem is sinking that one out in the harbor and then just going and getting a new one. But I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to sink him. I could steal the tugboat, but that means committing to blowing 3 doors, which is something I don't want to do because I don't have satchels. So, and I could blow up his fucking base because there's nothing in that fucking tugboat and hasn't been since day one of wipe. And go get a new tugboat. That's the most valid way to do it, I suppose. That ship might actually have loot. Maybe one of the other tugboats was sank and I should go check the harbor, I guess. It's starting to be nighttime, but I'll go check the harbor. I don't have anything, so if I die, it doesn't matter. I'm starving to death anyways. But yeah, I'll go see if there's like tugboat harbor. There's still that one that's sitting back over there. Yeah, so like I could go take a lot of scrap to fishing village. What? Oh, he didn't want to swim around. Just break the twig. The choices are so bad. Watching these children fuck up all the time. I never fucked up when I was young like these people do. I think it's a lack of education, maybe. They just don't have critical thinking. I'm sure they hear it all the time in their fucking high school or whatever. You don't apply critical thinking skill enough or whatever. I'm sure they hear it all the time. Because there is no critical thinking in most anything he does. Now look at this. This base is open. Did he rob this base to hit me? No, this has just always been empty. Okay. So why is the door off it? Did somebody blow in? Yeah, they blew in. It was probably stands, right? Yeah. I could produce bean cans and blow the doors, I suppose. It's not the hardest thing. I don't know. I could just sink the boat. Why do they do this stupid shit? And he, like, grounded it. I don't know. It's a coded lock, which means that, like, maybe it's the duo. It's cheaper, I think, to just go buy the submarine. But I don't think there's a fishing village near here, though. I don't even see the lights of one. Maybe the other direction? Wait, no, there. There's a fishing village. And another tugboat. Why don't I just sink these 2 tugboats? Maybe I should go over there with a pair of flippers and... I'll wait out the day. Or whatever. I don't know, I'm gonna starve. I don't know. I don't need to do any more rust, I suppose. Maybe I'll just go back to the main for now. Oh, yeah, I'm selling stuff, aren't I? Now, I am not selling mithril ingots. Did you place? No, you didn't. Okay, good. I am not selling mithril ingots. Okay, 291. I needed to place copper. I'm tired. Like, it's hard. It's been hard to stay the whole 14 hours, but I want to. I haven't done a 14-hour bit in a while, and I'm not trying to reduce my quality of the stream or this video. So, I don't know if I want to produce 3 stacks of sheets, but I mean, that is only 100k, but it's 100 and fucking, or it's like 210k profit or something. It's good money if they slow sell. I need fire. Oh, I do. I need fire. Fire is expensive because they know that I'm trying to take over the goldsmithing market. I've gone through so much fire. Hundreds of it, I think. Like 200 stacks of fire crystals or something. Yeah, I definitely have gone through like 10 or 12 stacks of 8. Look, the prices are up because of me, I think. Like, the server can't produce enough fire to replace what it's using. I get the sense that some of these goldsmithers don't like what I'm doing, but I don't care. All I'm doing is selling them their mats. That's it. I don't know. But I get this feeling that they resent me when I'm sitting there all day or something. I don't know. God damn it, the fire crystals are like as expensive as they've ever been. You're really making this more expensive? Oh, damn it. 5 stacks should be enough for now. Think I've got a lot of scrap in this space, but I don't know. I think I can go buy a submarine and a torpedo. Oh no, I think I have to go make the torpedoes, which is a whole bunch of more sulfur farming that I don't think I've even done. So I don't know. Maybe it's just easier to blow in that tugboat and take control of it, I guess. I don't think tugboats are very good anymore. They're basically the same thing as a rib now. It's so stupid. Why did they ruin tugboats? They shouldn't have made it float back to land like that. It was such a good asset until they ruined it. Just for large clan assholes, too. All the small pop server people actually would really like a tugboat that doesn't float to the fucking shore every 8 hours. Let's see. Fire. Mithril ingot. Is it just a mithril ingot? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? I died. Oh, because I got in the water. Right. Yeah, the freezing cold. Yeah, that'll do it. Well, I stripped naked, so it doesn't matter. It's weird that we started out with 16 on the server for the first few days, and then it dropped to 4. Where did the other fucking, like, 12 people go? It's weird. Are they all cheating and getting banned? I should go look at the ban list on the Discord. I bet it's full. Last time I looked, it was a cesspit of attack culture. It was retarded. Fucking attack artists with worthless lives. Okay, 43 hours in this base, and I do have some more mithril forging to do. Yeah, both the bases are good, and I pulled the other one because it's too much work to get to it. Yeah, and this base is doing okay. It is alright. I believe I will wrap down here. I think it's a natural place to stop. I thought I was going to go for another hour, but I don't believe so. I do not believe so. Oh, did we not finish this? Never mind. Let's finish this first, though.
Exclusive to the PC and Xbox on the 21st, but let's be real, it's almost certainly going to end up on PS5 at some point in the future. This continues the saga of Senua, who faces threats both internal and external in a dark fantasy world inspired by Norse and Celtic mythology and culture. The first one was critically acclaimed for its story presentation and handling of complex issues like mental health, and the second one looks to be more impressive in every regard, given how little marketing
I did not like Senua. I thought it was actually a fucking bad game that had like a lot of bad things to say about schizophrenia. And while it was a good game, like it was well made, it was a little bit weird in its execution in a way I didn't like.
But behind this one, I really hope it finds an audience and goes gangbusters because, yeah, I mean, you know all the reasons.
I did not. All the whispering and the fucking weird schizophrenic stuff drove me crazy. I did not like it at all. I thought it was a bad game.
System Shock Remake arrived last year on PC to stellar reviews, and this week it'll arrive on PlayStation and Xbox. That drops on the 21st. Paper Trail...
Wait, what was that now? What game was it? What was it? Oh, System Shock 2. Oh, no, System Shock Remake console port.
To stellar reviews, and this week it'll arrive on PlayStation and Xbox. That drops on the 21st. Paper Trails is a delightful looking indie title we profiled a few weeks back on the Put This On Your Radar segment. You fold paper to open new paths forward, kind of like that Viewfinder game that dropped recently, except instead of photography, it's origami. This arrives on the 21st, exclusive to PC. And finally, Ubisoft are launching their COD-esque X Defiant. It's a free-to-play competitive shooter that combines different factions from across Ubisoft games like The Division, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, and more. In terms of how it plays, it's a very COD feeling, but there's a big focus on operator kits and objective-based game modes, so it's almost like Overwatch meets COD, so if you like Black Ops 4, chances are you'll like this too. It's launching on all platforms bar Switch on the 21st. I like this, to be honest. It was fun. It's not the kind of game I'm looking for right now, but it seems well made, so I think there's a good chance it'll find an audience. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I have no idea what the hell this is. Put this on your radar. So this is called Arctic Eggs, and it's a game about someone who's trapped in some sort of dystopic sci-fi research facility in Antarctica, and for some reason there seems to be a lot of hens in battery cages, and it's your job as the poultry peddler to fry up eggs for the hungry people who are also trapped with you there, only you're not just frying eggs, you're frying bacon and beer bottles and cigarettes. I guess it's a prison economy down there, so you gotta season the eggs with whatever you've got on hand. It's from an outfit that goes by the name of Water Museum, as well as Abmarine, Cameron Ginnox, and Cocky Duty. It's a Steam exclusive. Best of all, it has 3 different difficulties, each of them changing the wall height of your frying pan. It looks all kinds of messed up, and I'm totally into it. It's out tomorrow. I've left a link to it over on my Steam curator page, which also has links to all of the other Put This On Your Radar stuff I've recently covered. I'll leave a link to all of that below the like button. Sort of free stuff time now, and there really isn't much to shout out as we are mid-month. Hell, I can't even shout out Epic's giveaway as it's currently under wraps as a mystery entry, though that usually hints at something good to come, so do be sure to check back later in the week. There is one thing though, Bungie's free-to-play shooter Marathon is now available. If your heart skipped a beat thinking that Bungie just shadow dropped their next big release, then gotcha! The Marathon I'm referring to is the original Marathon from back in the day.
Oh, and it was a stinker, just like the new one.
Bungie worked with a community modding team to bring the game into the modern era. It's not a remake or a remaster, it's just a straight port to modern hardware, though it does contain a number of improvements to align it with modern hardware capabilities. Stuff like widescreen.
Remember how I talked about 2004? Back in 2004, they tried to keep taking us back to 1994, and that's the last time this game was good.
PS support and a few other things. That's listed as Classic Marathon over on Steam.
It was on the Dreamcast. It was so bad. It wasn't even on the Dreamcast. It was on lower than that. It was like something lower. There was a version that was on the Dreamcast that had way better graphics though, and I did think that game had some redeemable qualities because the graphics at least were Dreamcast quality, but I mean it still wasn't a good game.
And you can download it right now for free. Our feel-good story for the week is actually not related to the recent Xbox news, and I want to be clear about that. This is not some...
That is a Fallout 76 story.
...revenge fantasy. It's just some dude who really, really wanted to fight Phil Spencer in Fallout 76. Spencer is actually a huge Fallout 76 fan for some reason. He plays on the reg and always has, and a guy who goes by at...
What do you mean for some reason? Come on. Okay, more mythical sheets. More.
Real 1090 Jake has always wanted to fight Phil Spencer in Fallout 76 because reasons. Speaking to Kotaku, Jake said, quote, "It's not much to it. I've been planning to catch him for a while now to see if he would agree to a fight. Trying to take him down was just a personal goal for me after I finished the main quest line. This was a calculated attack, lol. I have no beef with Phil," end quote. Jake did manage to track Phil down at one point, but was disappointed when Phil didn't throw down. Quote, "I honestly just wanted my 1v1, but he wouldn't attack me back. He waved and did a couple of hearts when I caught him alone," end quote. With the bitter taste of friendly pleasantries in his mouth, Jake was left with no choice, so he did the only thing he could do. Dropped a nuclear bomb on Phil Spencer's Fallout 76 camp. The attack was noted by someone on Twitter, with Jake then claiming responsibility for it and providing video evidence. The funniest part about this, though, is just a day after that attack, Phil Spencer completed the quest called Officer on Deck, which is the quest chain that unlocks your ability to launch nuclear weapons. Phil is clearly not taking this one lying down. Alright ladies and gents, it's been a long show, so thanks for sticking with us all the way through. As I said, I'm away this week, but a few things to look forward to while I'm away. Austin has been dumping a huge number of hours into the early access for Hades 2, so look forward to his take going up later this week. We have a pretty huge
Oh good, another isometric.
episode.
How many are you going to make this year? 4,000? Are they all bad? Do they all suck on Diablo 4's dick and aren't even as good as Diablo 4, which was the worst one?
Friends per second podcast going live over the weekend too.
My god, she's beautiful.
We're chatting with the Hellblade 2 creative director Don Matthews. We talked to him about all the shit going down at Xbox right now and how he feels about all that. as well as what we can expect from Hellblade 2 when it launches next week. We also chatted with the folks from Airship Syndicate, who just announced that they're releasing Wayfinders into 1.0, but they're making it an offline game. They're ripping out all of the live service components, selling it as a
Oh, Wayfinders is not going to be in like a multiplayer game? Okay.
premium product. A really interesting story about the journey to that decision, so be sure to tune in for that one when it's live. That's all I got for you today. Like the video if you liked it.
Wayfinders is going to be a single player game. What is Wayfinders? I don't remember. Is that like a teaser on a game that isn't even out yet? What is Wayfinders? Oh, yeah, it is out. Okay, we need to talk about Wayfinder. We need to have a chat. What is going on with Wayfinder? After strong starts, this was stalled out in a bit. Wayfinder is that we're playing. This is a brand new instanced hub-based MMO light. This recently came to Steam Early Access. Let's see what Lacey Peon
is
thought.
a brand new instanced hub-based MMO light that's recently came to Steam Early Access.
Light.
In this game, you run randomly generated dungeons to obtain loot, take on bosses either solo or in 3-player groups,
Random generated
complete
dungeons,
quests,
huh?
hunt resources in the open world, hunt collectibles, and upgrade your Wayfinder. Wayfinder basically works similar to Warframe in that each Wayfinder you unlock has their own specific abilities. Each Wayfinder can equip any weapon, and changing weapons only changes your weapon ability, but not character abilities. Wayfinder will be a free-to-play game on full release, which will apparently be in around 6 months' time, and so far the game has a similar business model to Warframe. Not pay to win, but you can pay to skip the in-game grind of unlocking characters and weapons by spending money. I covered Wayfinder earlier in the year during the closed beta,
I love Peon.
and I didn't really enjoy the game too much. I found the combat to be average at best, the dungeons to be repetitive, and the sense of progression to be lacking. Today we'll find out if Wayfinder has improved with its early access release, but first, today's sponsor, a special collaboration between Goddess of Victory Nikkei and Nier Automata. Jump into Goddess of Victory Nikkei, a thrilling sci-fi RPG shooter where you form a team of gun-wielding anime characters, and now, with their collaboration with Nier Automata, you can play with beloved characters such as 2B, A2 and Pascal. As a fan of both universes, I love how Nikkei and Nier both revolve around post-apocalyptic settings.
I love not having to do ads like this, and I never will. Now, if I like the game, oh yeah. If I like the game, I'll definitely do the ads, and I'll fucking sling them good, too, and I'll be like, this is a great game, I'll tell you why, right? But, I mean, this stuff, no. Cell phone stuff,
perfectly meshes their fight for humanity.
They've already offered me a whole bunch of offers. I could probably make, like, probably 5 or 10 grand, honestly. I looked at all those offers, and I was like, Jesus Christ, if I were to do all of these, they'd probably pay me, like, 5 grand. And I was like, man, you know, I could start off a career here of being a fucking shill, you know? No thanks. It's been 2.5 years, you know? The only person I'm going to shill for is my motherfucking self.
Through diverse gameplay elements.
My motherfucking self I trust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and my motherfucking self I trust.
Puzzles and roguelike challenges to competitive battles. Be prepared for fresh character designs and outstanding visuals. Thanks to advanced animations and the latest in gaming tech, everything feels
No, I trust my friends. I actually do. I trust them with my life because they know a lot of things about me like that.
PC, you can dive right into the action. There should be tons of Nikkei live streams going on throughout this event, so be on the lookout for Twitch drops. You can receive bonuses like Advanced Recruitment Voucher 23, Recruitment Voucher 10, Limited SR Pascal 3, and Unique Avatar Frame 2. So don't miss out on this epic collaboration. Download Goddess of Victory Nikkei using the link in the description. Download now. Wayfinder.
Finally.
This is a game that I covered a few months ago and I didn't really like it, but it's just released on Steam.
I didn't really like it.
So I'm hoping it's gone through a lot.
I'm hoping it probably
down
is a
and
cell
decided to
phone
try and play the
game.
game off camera to see if it's the kind of game you can just chill and enjoy. I joined a group and killed Commander Creed, did some questing in the Highlands, upgraded my gear and unlocked the Bloodworks dungeon. But after about
The combat doesn't look that bad to me.
40 minutes, I just naturally reached the point where I felt like I didn't want to play the game anymore. I wasn't having fun, and to continue would be purely forcing myself for extra content. So that's where we'll wrap up this first impressions with some pros and cons. Pros. The dungeons have massively improved since the last time I played the game.
Cool.
They feel more random, have more interesting mechanics, feel less repetitive and the loot feels more rewarding. I began enjoying the dungeons when I started taking the clear and loot everything approach, rather than doing just enough to get maximum chest rewards at the end then rushing the boss. Visually, the game has quite a nice vibrant art style that I think will be popular with a lot of people. The movement feels quite smooth and responsive. I like the way mob attacks are clearly displayed with the purple icon, so you know exactly when you should use your iframe dodge. The business model seems kind of okay for free-to-play standards, and it's cool that the game has an apartment that you can collect furniture for and decorate, which is kind of unexpected for this type of game.
Wow.
Cons. The loading screens are so long and so frequent that it constantly takes you out of any kind of flow state you're in whilst playing the game. The sense of progression feels unsatisfying, upgrades aren't impactful, and there's no visual progression outside of buying cash shop costumes. The combat, whilst not bad, is average at best and doesn't get...
That's all I have to hear. Sorry.
Sub to the channel if you'd like to come back next week. Ding that bell so I can hassle you at inconvenient moments. Thanks as always for watching, and a big thanks to this week's sponsor, Manscaped. Down here in Australia, we are heading into winter, so we are freezing our balls off. And that is something that very few sponsors would let me say in an ad read, but luckily this video is sponsored by Manscaped, a company who has a stake in your balls. Probably should have reworded that. In the Northern Hemisphere though, you guys are barreling towards a hot guy summer. That is, so long as you're taking care down there. Nothing spoils a chiseled beach body like unsightly growth below the board shorts line. Luckily, Manscaped have got just what you need to keep you looking great, board shorts on, or kid off at one of those nudist beaches. Their crown jewel to help you take care of the family jewels is their Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, and let me tell you, it's got futuristic tendencies. In the kit is the all-new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the most advanced ball trimmer in the history of the human species. Your body hair will tremble in fear at the sight of it, for it knows it cannot withstand the two interchangeable blades, one of them skimming off the top and the new foil blade for a closer shave. The hair can try to run and hide, but it will not succeed, for the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra features dual LED spotlights to provide contrast on multiple skin tones.
Welcome to another edition of
Thank you, Skill Up, for the excellent content for our stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
With the Performance Package 5.0
Thank
Ultra,
you,
this
Hysteria.
ultimate
I
all-in-one
have
grooming
liked
kit
and
is set
subbed to your
have you
channel.
looking and feeling your...
Welcome to another edition of This Fucking Guy, the series where we pick one fucking guy who's making America worse and explore why they suck. I'm Erin Ryan, host of Crooked Media's Hysteria podcast.
And I'm Alyssa Mastromonaco, the other host of Crooked Media's Hysteria
Awesome.
podcast.
And as you can probably
I love
see
the
by our
age
setup,
the age
we're in
range.
person today.
I love it. It's really awesome to see like a 75-year-old woman with like a 40-year-old woman. I think that's a fucking amazing fucking age range. Beautiful setup. I love it.
Special of treats.
I like the waters. I like the tablets. I like the microphones. I like the background. I like the fucking execution.
Alyssa, today we're going
I hope she's not rightist. They look like leftists to me, but I just hope they're not rightist, because women who are right... ugh.
to dive into one of the best embodiments of the internet adage, nothing that only straight men like is cool. We will be looking into the life and times of the worst thing to come from South Africa since apartheid. A man who, despite growing evidence that he's, shall we say, not in the headspace to control space exploration, electric vehicle manufacturing, communications, or the biotech industry, is still being trusted with billions in government contracts and essentially being allowed to man the levers of the financial markets, all while rage tweeting fringe conspiracy theories and cozying up to extremists.
Sounds like me. Sounds like me. He's from the smoke and the weed to the... No, I'm just kidding. I don't have some weird conglomerate's life. But, or Corpo's life. But I think I smoke weed like him, and I think I probably subscribe to the same fucking, most of the same conspiracy theories, except for the Jewish shit.
This is Elon. I
never met a Jewish person I didn't like. And I mean that.
bought into
I've definitely had sex with several Jewish women, and I definitely really do not believe in fucking racism.
the hype around Elon Musk. He always struck me as a weirdo who was more...
It seems like they really want to fucking cancel him, because all this stuff is like from 2 days ago and shit like that.
shit than porta potties at the end of the New York City Marathon.
That's pretty full of shit. Elon Musk became one of the richest people in the world by convincing enough people with power that he's a genius. But there's no there there. He's not a genius. He's not a scientist. He's not an engineer.
He's a liar CEO.
He's not an innovator. He's a bullshitter. There's
Yeah. I would say the one thing this guy is good at is image. I would say he is emotionally intelligent. I would say he's really emotionally intelligent. And I think he's extremely good at optics. And I think that's all you need for his job. I don't think it matters what he does. You guys keep like going after him for things, but I don't think it matters what he does.
so many instances of Elon exaggerating or flat out spinning tall tales about his own prowess.
Does it matter? You keep believing everything he says. Does it matter if they're lies if you keep believing everything he says?
But that was hard to not.
I mean, really, what's the difference, kind of? I mean, you know they're lies, you still keep believing everything he says.
Turn this video into a sprawling limited series a la Shogun.
But we love a good scam, so let's learn about the self-perpetuating scam that is Elon.
Strap in, Alyssa.
I'm ready.
Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, to a wealthy family of fucking weirdos in South Africa. His mother was a Canadian dietitian and model who has appeared on cereal boxes and the cover of Sports Illustrated. He has a brother, Kimball, who was once set up with one of Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriends by Jeffrey Epstein himself. He's got
Good. Why was the Musk brothers hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, it used to be 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? Now it's 6 degrees of motherfucking Jeffrey Epstein.
sister and a handful of half-siblings. Elon's father, Errol, a millionaire and...
Oh no, he's probably a real freak. Actually, I don't know. He looks fairly normal to me, honestly. His house and his appearance and his life.
Engineer who claims he's killed a few people. was half owner of a Zambian emerald mine in the 1980s, he says, and eventually fathered 2 children with his own stepdaughter, Jana.
You know, it's weird.
Thus
He fathered 2 children with his own stepdaughter, which is like, wait, that's his wife's daughter, right?
making him his own stepfather-in-law.
I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Oh my god. So where's the lyrics? Can we hear it? Oh my god. Oh my god. When what's his name did it, it was so funny. I'm my own grandpa lyrics, right? Oh my god. This is such a long song, it's kind of problem. So anyways, so now many years ago when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter, had hair full of red. My father fell in love with her and soon the two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and changed my very life. My daughter was my mother because she was my father's wife. To complicate the matters, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. My little baby then became a brother-in-law to dad, so became my uncle, though it made me very sad. For if he was my uncle, that also made him the brother of the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother. I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. I'm my own grandpa. My father's wife then had a son that kept him on the run, and he became my grandchild, for he was my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, and it makes me blue, because she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. Now, if my wife is my grandmother, then I am her grandchild, and every time I think of it, it nearly drives me wild, for now I have become the strangest case you ever saw. As husband of my grandmother, I am my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. I'm my own grandpa. And this can happen, by the way. It's actually a wonderful little song about a wonderful little twist in genetics that can happen where you can become your own grandfather. It is possible. It's fucking crazy.
I think.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, that's right, an emerald mine. Elon hates this story because he really wants...
So, okay, I swear to fucking God, I swear to God, I read a fucking novel by, what's her name? I'll nail even the author. Danielle Steele. Danielle Steele, right? Novel, Diamonds, right? About diamonds, right? Diamonds and pearls, right? Something. Jewels, right? Okay, so I think the storyline that Musk's family used to tell the media is actually of the storyline of Danielle Steele's Jewels. And I don't know what I'm basing this on, except for at the beginning of Jewels, her husband is younger. And he goes to an island with some Barbados man, and they find a diamond mine in Zambia. And like and I swear to God, this is like the storyline to Danielle Steele's Jewels. I swear to God it is. I'm actually not kidding. I'm not kidding. And so I remember the film because, or sorry, I remember the story because the intro of the book was really super good, but then it ended up just being a Danielle Steele novel. But the opening of the novel was super good because it had all kinds of intrigue and stuff with like diamonds on a beach or something like that. And the whole thing stinks of this old, like, yeah, and there was some emeralds, as I recall. Like, the emeralds are what draw them to the diamonds in the first place, because the emeralds they can see, but the diamonds blend in with the sand. But the emeralds stand out, which is how they find I believe it was like they cause a boat crash, and the boat crash had the boat had diamonds on it, and emeralds. And they find the diamonds on the beach, and they get out of poverty that way, and they come back to Zambia and they buy a fucking emerald mine. It's like, I've heard this story before. I've literally read this story before. And so the Duchess of Whitfield tells the story, right? She tells the story of her meeting her husband or something. And her husband is like this diamond thief liar from South Africa who like ends up, I think, cheating on her and all this stuff. It's actually crazy. I believe I've heard this story before somewhere. I think I've heard this story before somewhere in a book I read. I'm dead serious. I think I've heard this fucking shitty story before. I've read this story before. It was a Danielle Steele novel. And he doesn't want to tell them where they come from or what they did in apartheid. I guarantee it. So they just spun Danielle Steele's fucking Jewels, which is actually a pretty good fucking book. I'm dead serious. See, I actually did read books when I was young. I don't do it anymore, but I mean, I actually read a lot of books in a lot of genres when I was young. I was very much a librarian nerd, and I definitely was a big book nerd, you know? And like, I swear to God, this is the fucking plot line to Danielle Steele's Jewels. And it kind of sounds like the kind of funny thing that Elon Musk's family would do, too. If, you know, okay, you know what? It would be very funny to try to convince the press that I was what's his name from that movie, or sorry, from the novel The Pelican Brief. I'm sorry, The Pelican Brief was a story about a woman. I want to do the run, or no, what is it? It's what's the Tom Cruise one from John Grisham? What is it? It's the oh God, what is it? It's John Grisham film with what's his name? Not the Rainmaker, but the other one that's with Tom Cruise. What's the Tom Cruise one? It's The Firm, right? So I want to convince the media that my life story is The Firm. And I think I might. If I ever talk to the media because of my job, I'm going to try and convince them. And I'm going to say it on stream, and they're not going to be able to ever come back to, like, right, and it'll be like 2 or 5 years from now, and I'm going to get a call from some media person, and they're going to be like, hey, we really like you or whatever, and we want to know your story. And I'm like, oh, yeah, so, and then I pull up the Wikipedia for the firm, and I say, oh, yeah, yeah, my name is Rich Alldayerrydaybaby. And I went to Harvard, and I was a top Harvard Law School graduate. And when I was younger, when I got out of graduate school, I was offered a really good. See, I can't say it without laughing but I will if I do it with enough practice, right? And I took I worked for a law firm called Bendini, Lambert and Locke in Memphis. And I can't call it Bendini, Lambert, and Locke, so I'll call it Locke, Lamb, and Bendy, right? Or something like that. Locke, or whatever, Bendo, or whatever, like, Bendoro, Lambo, and Locke, right? Bandoro, Lambo, and Locke, right? And in Memphis, Tennessee, I'll change the names, right? And so yeah, and so I met my first wife, Abby, there, and I got ready for the bar exam, even though when I took the job for the law firm, I hadn't passed the bar yet, right? And so then there was this senior partner there. His name was Tom Avery. And he was the guy who, like, taught me everything I know about the law. And he taught me they were pretty uptight. They were like pretty uptight guys, and we couldn't talk about anything. We couldn't talk about our love lives or our money or our high fees or anything. And then they kept giving me all this stuff, right? And and it's weird because when I was, like, working there, my wife Abby, she kept being, like, sort of harassed by the fucking, like, the wives of the other lawyers. It was really weird, and this is something John Grisham always does. They did it in the Devil's Advocate as well. The wife is always being harassed by the other lawyers' wives, right? But anyways, Mitch passes the bar. I'm sorry, I can't say that, or I'll ruin the press hoodwink like Elon Musk ran with Danielle Steele's fucking jewels. I can't believe Elon Musk gave the story Jewels to the press and actually pulled it off, and they were too dumb to know what it was. A good press person probably would have read this book. I'm sorry. Anyways, so Mitch passes the bar, and that's probably what he thinks too. He might actually be a genius, maybe, if he pulled what I think he pulled off. If he convinced the press that his life is Danielle Steele's The Jewels, I think he actually is the genius that they say he is. That's some Aleister Crowley shit right there. Convince the press media that your life is like a very famous novel. I think that's actually such a good idea. I'm gonna do this to the first hapless press person I've ever met who has no idea who I am. And they can't go back to what's today? They can't go back to 9:30 a.m. on 5/15/2024, like 5 years from now. They're not going to be able to know how to go back to my stream to 9:30 when I sat on stream with you guys and I plotted how to trick the press into believing that my life is the storyline from the firm. And I'm gonna do it too, I swear to God. On my father's grave, I will do this. I will lie to them so badly. And every time I talk to them, I'll pull the plot about Mitch McDeere and the firm, and I'll tell them that I'm the firm. And then my wife was harassed by other lawyers' wives and stuff, and our marriage started to suck, and I was working too much, right? I can tell the press this. They're gonna believe it. I swear to God, they're gonna believe it. And then eventually, right? So then eventually, I learned that there was all these rich people that the guy upstairs, what did I say his name was? I got to keep it all straight, right? I was never a con artist like Slippin' Jimmy, so I was never good at lying like this, right? Well, what did I say? It was like Lambo, Bendor, what did I say? It was like Bendy, Lambo, and Locke or something dumb. This sounds like pirate names. And then I love this bit. It's a good bit. I want to convince the press that my life is the firm. I think that'd be very funny because I really don't like fucking you know, what's his name? I don't like Tom Cruise, but I like The Firm. So, on a work trip to the Cayman Islands, I'm sorry, so anyway, so we took, so I was really rich lawyer, even though I hadn't passed the bar yet, right? That's totally plausible. I was this totally rich lawyer who had never passed the bar yet, right? And I'm down, I'm down in the, I'm down in the Cayman Islands, and I'm drinking with all the other lawyers who are doing cocaine and cheating on their wives, and they tell me about an offshore shell corporation, right? And other questionable tax avoidance stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be involved in offshore shell corporations and tax avoidance stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the press lady's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, I don't want to get involved with anything like that. You know, this is the story I'm going to tell them, I swear to God. If they ever ask me, I will give them the plot to The Firm. I swear on my father's grave, guys, I swear to God. Fucking Elon Musk and Danielle steals the jewels. Oh no. I think he did. It's like literally the same plot to Danielle steals the jewels. I read this on an airport, on a fucking airline once. I read it in like a single session. It was so fucking trashy and awesome, and I remember the storyline very well. And I believe what she's saying, this fabled emerald mine, I swear to God, that is the storyline to Danielle Steele's Jewels. It's even why the cover is green. Anybody with a brain would know it, I think. Oh my God. Or anybody with like who actually was well read and not some kind of sycophant in the society who's just like living off of like blogging or something. Anybody who actually was like an intellectual and read books might actually know the reference. It's kind of funny. But the modern press probably doesn't. They were raised on social media.
Lego-headed lord who grew up in one of the biggest houses in Pretoria.
I think you guys I think you fell for the Danielle Steele lie. I think he's from South Africa, yeah. And I think he's probably really apartheid, and he's been hiding that from you for a really long time. And I don't think the Jewish comments are a mistake. And I believe when you asked him where he came from, it was probably apartheid, right? Probably slavery. And so he doesn't want to say that. So he says, yeah, my lifeline is so we found this emerald mine. And the press is like, really? They're so stupid. They believe anything you say to them, and then they just repeat it. It's so stupid. I hate the press. So yeah, if any of these people ever ask me a question in public about where I came from, you know it and I know it, but you guys have to keep it secret, okay? You can't tell the idiot press person until they figure it out for themselves first, okay? You can't tell them. You can't tell them. And like the first time I ever deal with the press, if I ever do, my name is Bitch McDeer. it's the Bitch McDeer play. I'm gonna be Mitch McDeer from The Firm, and so yeah, and so let's go on about the plot of The Firm, right? I love these little bits that are actually funny. Elon Musk sold them Danielle Steele's the jewels. That's actually so funny to me. Life is funny. You know, oh my God. Anyway, So I'm telling the press lady, I'm like, yeah, so I take a work trip down to the Cayman Islands, and I heard something about how our current associates break legs, and what I mean by this is like our clients were the mafia in Chicago, and I don't like shell corporations, and I don't like hiding money, and I don't like fucking working for the mafia. So, right? And the press lady's like, yeah, I see. And I want to get really good at this. I got to get really good at telling the plot to The Firm, to the first hapless press person that I meet. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember what I said on stream. I'm dead serious. And you guys watch me. I'll play a fucking prank on the press because I don't like them. I never have. So if they ever ask me where I come from, right, I'm not going to tell them all the fucking methamphetamine and heroin stories that you guys all got. The truth, you know? I'm not going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them the plot line to The Firm. And you think I'm kidding. I'm not. And I'll sell it too. And I'll convince them that. Meanwhile, the security chief at The Firm, Bill DeVasher, he sent a prostitute to try and sleep with me. And I kind of did. I kind of slept with the prostitute like an idiot. And now they have photos, and they're blackmailing me into silence. So I hired a private investigator named Eddie Lomax, a former cellmate of my brother's, to go look into the to the deaths that these mafia guys supposedly call. But then the FBI comes. And the FBI came to the firm, and they I had to run from the firm for a while. I ran out of the firm really fast, and then the FBI found me. And she's like, really? yeah. And so you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I know you don't believe me when I tell you this shit, but this is true. That's what I'm going to say. And so in the end, I saved the day. I found a way to save my career, because I had discovered that they were overbilling the mafia. And so then I took it to the government, and I hit all of them for RICO. Ba-dum-ting! And she's like, no way! And I'm like, yeah, I took them all for RICO. I fucked the firm. I fucked the mafia. I own the firm now. And she's like, no way. And she's like, yeah. And I say, yeah. So now I sit around and play video games all day, because I RICO'd this law firm that I worked at. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't laugh about it if it wasn't so funny. They were such fucking assholes. So I took him for mail fraud and RICO charges, and now I own the firm. And she's gonna be like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, I do. Their name is Heckler, Deckler, and Peckler. And I slammed the phone. I don't like the press. Fuck them. And so there we go. And that's my last little spiel for the night, guys. I'm terribly sorry. I'm obviously cracked, as you can see, and I'm plotting how to trick the press into believing that my Elon Musk lifeline story is the plot line to Danielle Steele's The Jewels. I saw through it immediately, because I actually read, and I'm like, it's kind of funny. It's like a dog whistle for stupid people. You just sell them a script to a novel, and it sounds so amazing because it's a novel that you believe that I'm telling you the truth or something like that. So you want to believe that Elon Musk family found I think the operative word here is found an emerald mine, huh? Let's hear what you have to say about that.
No, Aaron, I meant the thing about his stepdaughter.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. So did you sire children with your wife's daughter? Elon's dad? Is Elon his own grandpa? Is Elon his own grandpa? I'm hearing the incest loud and clear, but I kind of need you to say the word. Are we talking about a second cousin, lost removed, now his own grandpa, sleeping with his wife's daughter and siring his own stepchildren to... I don't know. Yeah, that kind of sounds like apartheid South Africa to me, in the right-wing party. Yeah.
You meant mine. Yeah, in 1979, Elon's dad divorced Elon's mom, May, and later married a woman who had 2 children of her own. Errol helped raise them,
Oh no, so you can see her eye going a little bit sideways here, because her female sensibilities have been offended here, and we're about to hear why.
2 kids with her, and then had 2 kids with one of the stepchildren.
Oh my god! How the fuck do you fuck the mother and then the daughter and have 4 children with both? What? I'm sorry. I think your life is the goddamn storyline to Danielle Steele's Jewels. I think your life is that storyline. Never mind. I don't think you need a novel. I think your life is that novel.
When she...
okay. So I'm really attracted to my dad's wife's stepdaughter's daughters that he sired with his stepdaughter. Sister. She's my 3rd cousin grandmother removed.
He was of age and he was older.
This is what happens when a bunch of dumb people just start inbreeding.
Once told an interviewer, quote, "The only thing we're on this earth for is to reproduce."
I have often flippantly remarked every time anybody ever asks what the meaning of life is, reproduction, and I wasn't joking.
I can see where Elon gets his creepy reproduction fetish.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't believe that that's the only reason that we're here at all. I think the reason that we're here is actually music, believe it or not. But, if it, barring that anyways, it's reproduction so that everything can eat. And while humans don't have a natural predator, really, I don't see why our bodies can't go feed the worms that feed all the other things. And so I think that's why we're here. I think monkeys are there to eventually become carcass food for something else like a tiger or something like that. We were never really meant to get this advanced, I don't think, with tablets and all this stuff. But bottom line is reproduction is usually why something would be alive. It's got to be there. Everybody's got to be there. Every living thing has to be there to keep the food chain that is all of life going. It's all one big fucking daisy chain. Without humans, you don't have any of it, and without anything else, you don't have any of it. So
we will get to that.
Without birds or bees, you don't have humans. It's kind of crazy, but you don't.
Although to his credit, according to Elon,
not human babies. You could easily kill humans by killing all the bees and the birds. You absolutely could. You could kill all the humans on the planet by killing all the bees and the birds. You wouldn't even need to spill any blood.
Biographer Walter
Just bees and birds, that's it.
Isaacson. Elon noticed and disapproved of the suspicious amount of attention his father was paying Jana, again, his own...
I can't believe that his father was fucking his sister, his stepsister, and then he just sired 2 kids with her. How the fuck do you fuck your stepdaughter and sire kids with her? Especially in Christian fucking South Africa. How the fuck does a white guy get away with impregnating his stepdaughter with 2 kids? In Christian 80s right-wing apartheid South Africa, full of churches and guns, How the fuck did this guy knock up his stepdaughter with 2 kids and get away with it? That is not that culture. That culture is more likely to probably lynch you for that and hang you right there in the square. You know what I'm saying? Probably burn you at the stake for doing shit like that, right? Knocking up your stepdaughter, Your wife's daughter?
Stepdaughter when she was 15 years old and Errol was 56. Errol insists that he was equally interested in all of his children and stepchildren.
This video has already accomplished the impossible, Aaron, making me feel a little...
So his father was a creep. That's not what I came here for. I don't think that matters, right? It probably matters, but I don't know if it matters to the story.
A bit bad for Elon Musk.
Elon was reportedly a mediocre student in high school, but somehow got high enough grades to get into college in Canada, where his mom lived at the time.
Why would you ever go from South Africa to Canada? I guess. College.
And while he was there, he somehow did well enough to transfer to an Ivy League university in the United States. As Musk tells it, he received degrees in physics and economics from UPenn in 1995, and then moved to California because he got into Stanford's PhD program, but dropped out after 2 days to be a full-time business boy genius. When the legend of Elon purports that he was the mental heft behind PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX, people just kind of go along with it because the belief that Silicon Valley
We needed PayPal.
teeming with prodigies and visionaries and not just a bunch of assholes screwing each other over like bankers in sweatpants is central to justifying the tech sector's very existence. First, let's get to Elon and PayPal. He did not co-found PayPal. He started his first company with some help from Daddy.
Yeah, I never heard that he was connected to PayPal ever. I thought that was someone else. I've heard another name with PayPal the whole time I've ever heard it, but I can't remember who it is.
Sold that company to Compaq. Remember Compaq?
No.
Yeah, like PayPal was owned by some weird conglomerate asshole, and I can't remember the name of it.
Don't remember it at all.
She's going to say it, and I can't remember who it is.
The money he made from selling it and
No, she
started a
isn't.
business called X.com.
Surely you can't mean the social media website formerly known as Twitter, or an early version of Tesla's Model X car, or the company SpaceX, or a site devoted to documenting the lives of one of his multiple children to whom he gave X names. Boy, he loves the letter X.
Yeah, it's his favorite letter.
I guess when you have a lot of money, you just sire 20 kids with 20 different women. And I guess they kind of want you to, I guess. They're like, oh, you're a billionaire. You can sire kids with me. Your money just opens the womb, I guess. It's just kind of crazy. What happened to fucking morality and fucking values? You just have 20 families there, Elon? You got 20 sets of kids or what? I mean, yeah, you must be some kind of right-winger if you really believe in those kind of family values. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
No, this wasn't even...
I did not expect to hear this kind of past at all.
Called X. Can you guess from the name what it did?
Sell erectile dysfunction medicines to impotent men in red states?
Oh, good guess. It was an online bank that somehow offered a product
Impotent men in red states?
that was less good than PayPal, which
I love it when women make fun of right-wing men. It's actually so funny. It's impotent men in right-wing states.
I have to admit is an achievement because
Because, I mean, he is a right-winger.
PayPal sucks. Point is, he named a bank after it because nothing conveys a sense of above-board safety and seriousness like a letter often used to denote the presence of a full bush in a film from the 1970s.
You know they call the inner circle of early PayPal the PayPal Mafia. Was Elon really anything like a Tony Soprano of online banking?
He was a Jackie Jr. at most. Once PayPal and X.com merged and X.com, like a dutiful wife, took PayPal's name, Musk became CEO because he had the most money. But he was so annoying that eventually PayPal founder and Silicon Valley supervillain Peter Thiel...
Peter Thiel! There he is! I couldn't remember the fucking name. I was like, I know the name. I've heard it before. Peter Thiel. He was a real asshole.
...found him too irritating to work with.
They both look like assholes. They both look like people in Jeffrey's goddamn cell phone, don't they? They both look like people that you would see in Jeffrey's cell phone. They both look like these weird creepers. They both look like they've been doing cocaine for weeks.
Supervillain Peter Thiel.
And they've been like pounding money.
Found him too irritating to work with, and so he quit. Well, the board eventually took Thiel's side and ousted Musk and replaced him with Thiel.
Imagine being...
Are all these CEOs just like coked up fucking child sex weirdos who are just like banging in the courtroom instead of doing anything? It's just, you know, that's my impression, but I'm just spinning out like what my fucking weirdest fucking fantasy is of what these people actually do with their fucking time. But now I hear all this shit and I'm kind of wondering if that's maybe what I think is actually what is actually going on, you know? Are they just like up in there with boardrooms plotting the end of the world? Fucking children and underage teenage hookers and stuff, and like, you know, just getting blackmailed all day and laughing the whole time while they do cocaine and like, you know, like sell Bitcoin and shit like this. It's weird. It's, you know, make social media platforms.
Peter Thiel.
I cannot imagine it.
Peter Thiel. There's a name I've heard for a long time. I used to really hate him when my first PayPal account got frozen. I have $575 in there, and they sent me this thing saying that two people had returned their returned their rides or something on their credit cards and declared fraud. And so they looked into my business, which shut down for 3 weeks, and I did not have any complaints. I think the people just probably like ran bad credit cards maybe or something. I think the people that I was dealing with were drug dealers and shit, and I think some of them ran bad credit cards. So PayPal took a look at me because of Square Trade. So not only did I have to deal with PayPal while I was running a business, and I mean a legitimate one too. I was like a fucking, you know, I was a full-time Uber driver working a lot, you know, like 60 hours a week and doing really well, like $30 an hour. And so I had all this business that I did swiping with Squarespace and stuff, and there's two fucking random credit card numbers go through, or not numbers, but transactions transactions go through that were like, you know, just not legitimate to PayPal. They were like, oh, well, you got money from these people, but we couldn't get money from their accounts. And they're like, these accounts aren't legitimate, and we suspect you might be involved. And I was like, I'm not involved with anything. I have a legitimate job. I'm working Uber Eats and Uber driving and shit for 60 hours a week and shit. You can look at my taxes. I'm not lying. You can look at my ride quotient. I can send you an email right now with the proof of the rides I did this week, you know? And they're like, okay, we see that you're telling the truth, sir, you know? They're like, we do see that. You have a long history of just, like, selling rides. We see that you have legitimate business, but these 2 transactions have flagged your account. And I was like, how is that my fault that they use bad credit cards? I'm out the money, aren't I? And they were like, yes. And I was like, it's not, the money's not in my account, is it? And they were like, yes. And I was like, well, then... can I just let it go? And they were like, no, 2 bad credit cards were used on your swipe thing, and we believe that you are involved. And I was like, how much were they for? And they were like, one was for $30.13, and the other one was for $50.18 or something like that. And I was like, okay, so it's $80, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. Well, so what goes on here? And they're like, well, you're under investigation for some kind of credit card fraud. And I was like, okay. And then they came back like 2 days later, and they were like, no, you are not guilty of anything. They came back and they're like, you are not guilty of anything. And we have unlocked your PayPal account, but we froze the $575 that was in your account. And you can't ever use this account again. And they wouldn't tell me anything beyond that. They were like, you can't use this account ever again. We decided that you're not guilty of anything, but we have frozen this account, and the money that we suspect is illegitimate inside of it. And this is all that we're ever going to talk to you about this, and have a nice day. And they just hung up. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at my fucking PayPal account, and they had stolen $575 fucking dollars, which is all the money I had worked for, like the last like 3 or 4 days or something like that. And I suddenly didn't have money for fucking food or the motel room that night or anything like that. I didn't have any money. It was all gone. $575 instantly gone out of my PayPal account, which I was using as my credit card. And I liked PayPal all the way up till that point. And they never did tell me why they did that. I had like on my record, I had 1,470 transactions, 2 of which were sus in any way. All the other 1,398 were legitimate fucking transactions, because I looked at my customers before I let them get in my car. You know, one of the things is yeah, their credit cards better be good, because I also invite the person themselves into my car. So I'm not letting anybody run, like I can't track every credit card thing. But they thought for some reason, because I was just doing all of my business through the swipe reader, because I'd become an independent contractor and I was just paying Uber to do rental. That was it. I wasn't even doing Uber rides for half of it. I was just like doing like old clients that I'd had for years, you know, they were paying me good money to show up at a certain time, like $60 here, or sometimes $200 to go to out of town, or, you know, $300 to go to Greeley or something like that. Or here, I got to go out to, one of the big ones was, the Walmart in... what's the name of the town out there? It's not Erie, but it's not Erie, Colorado, but it's like the Walmart in, God damn it, what's the name of the town? I can't think of it. Loveland. They're like, take me to the Walmart in Loveland. And you always tell them, you know, that's like a $245 ride, right? And they're like, no way. And you're like, yeah, that's a $245 ride. Here's the math on it, right? Here's the GPS. It says that this ride is 73 miles at, you know, $2.50 a mile, and the meter and the tip and all this, and I'm gonna charge you the tip up front on the transaction before I do the 3-hour drive each way, right? And I warn them up front. I'm like, I love doing long rides like this, but understand, like, long before you ever rip me off with a bad credit card, we're running this transaction before I do a 3-hour drive for an increment like that. And it was, you know, and like, none of my clientele ever ripped me off ever. I think actually somebody ripped off PayPal with my swiper, I think, with their PayPal card, and they blamed me. They thought I was in on it. Now, being an independent contractor, I thought later on that, wow, I could be on it. I could be in on it. And I looked at crimes against PayPal because they had treated me like that and stole that money from me. I looked at crimes against PayPal, using them in an opposite way to get at PayPal and seeing if I could get at PayPal the same way they got at me for $600 or something like that. I was like, can I just run bad credit cards on PayPal? And the answer is yes, you can, but you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? The answer is yes, you can, but you shouldn't, you know? Like, you know, like I found out fast, like on the first transaction, that, yeah, you can just run some fucking credit card on your own swiper, and there was never a customer necessary. And this is how the majority, and then I did it once, and I was like, nope, this stinks of, I did it once, and I was like, I called and I resolved it. I was like, I accidentally ran my own card here like an idiot. And I was just like absent-minded. I ran my own card here like an idiot or whatever. I forget what it was, but it's like, or whatever. I was like, no, I told him I ran the wrong card. I think I told him, I was like, I ran the wrong card. I got to cancel this transaction, and I'm just going to cover it because I don't know what to do about this or whatever. And I told them some lie about it. I was like, I don't know. They're gone, and I don't have their credit cards, so I'm going to fucking cover the transaction. I'm sorry. They gave me a bad card, and they told me it was a bad card. I don't know, you know, and all this. And I backed out of the one transaction that I did that was false because I immediately got bad feelings that they were looking for money, what did they call that? Money laundering, which is not what I was doing. I was thinking that I could, what was I planning to do? It was, buy stolen credit cards from the deep web and run stolen rides through my cell phone. And I realized immediately, not stolen rides, but stolen cards, that I acted like I was driving someone somewhere, but really I would just swipe the card, right? And I immediately realized after the first time that it was way too easy, that it was way too hot, that I was already a drug dealer, and that I couldn't, you know, be mixing that kind of crime. I couldn't be doing money laundering or whatever. I guess it's not money laundering. It's like stealing. It can't be doing like credit card stealing and being a drug dealer at the same time, because what if those things counterpoint at each other and cause a snare up and get me arrested or something like that? I was like, there's so many bad things about this that only a stupid criminal would ever act like this and just start swiping the card like some kind of maniac, you know? But I was like, wow, I just proved that I could just swipe the card on PayPal over and over and over again all day instead of actually conducting business or any transactions, and conduct money laundering on $100,000 level, and they would never ever know. And that's when I just was like, okay, now and remember, they had frozen me out of my first account and they stole my money, right? So I was on my second account with this. A mistake that they made well, and I made it too, is the second account, I probably could have become a very felonious and very successful criminal enterprise against them doing that stuff. But A, they're looking for it, so probably not. And B, like, you know, like the second account that I had with PayPal, I still have and I still use, and it's connected to my PayPal account. It's legitimate. It's never been. I've never been connected to any negative PayPal business. They froze my first account, but I did not commit any fraud or theft. And they told me later, they were like, "We have decided you are completely innocent in this, but you got two bad credit cards in the same day, and that just sets up a warning alarm with us with a vendor. We just shut you down." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so that was crazy. Like, I didn't run those credit cards. I did run a stolen credit card, but like once. And then I reversed the transaction. I was like, I can't do this. I can't steal the money. I can't draw some kind of connection. I can't act like I'm money laundering. I can't get easy money like this. I need to feel like I worked for it and all this other stupid shit with it. And like almost always with criminality, I never took the easy ride unless I thought the money was going to go to somebody around me who really, really needed it. And I very much so struggle with taking money that I didn't work for. I still do. I struggle with taking money that I don't work for, you know? Like, the first time that a government doctor told me that they were actually looking at passing me for disability, I tried to talk them out of it. I know that sounds like a loser thing for probably like Welfare America or something like that, but I tried to talk the government doctor out of putting me on disability, because I was like, I never want to admit to anybody in my community or anybody that I know that I ever had a weakness. And he was like, that's something somebody with Asperger's would say. And he was like, you should take the fucking title, take the help. Most people don't get a yes. And I was like, okay.
Musk remained the largest shareholder in PayPal, however, which ended up translating to a $165 million windfall when eBay bought the site in 2002.
So eBay buys PayPal, and then Thiel no longer controls it, right? And so the last time I think I heard about Thiel was like 2003. Then the eBay guy controlled it. Who's the evil eBay owner? Who's the evil eBay CEO name, right? It's supposed to be Will John Donahue's tenure at eBay, right? Or was it David Steiner? There's a bunch of these fucking people I used to track the names of, and it's not like because I'll ever meet them or something. It's because I don't like them.
He used that money to start a company called SpaceX.
I remember the names.
Sounds like a souvenir boner pill sold in gas stations in Roswell, New Mexico.
I love
From
that
what
this
I can
old
tell,
lady
it
is
started
ripping
with a
into him.
desire to
I think
send
that's
people
really awesome,
to
actually.
Mars.
I think they're aware of it, too.
Elon has always dreamed of sending people to Mars. Elon and early space allies.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to send all the people who ask him questions to Mars. That's probably why he pushed for SpaceX so bad. Maybe he could just blind them with science and they don't ask him about his apartheid past.
Michael Griffin traveled to
And his incest family and his and his fucking rapist father. I mean, I don't know if you're knocking up your stepdaughter while your wife's still in the situation. I don't know if that's rape, but I consider it to be essentially the degrading. What do the right wingers always say? The degradation of family values. It's the degradation of family values is the actual words for it. Like, I don't believe in knocking up your stepdaughter while the wife's still in the picture. That seems... I mean, I believe in knocking up the stepdaughter, I guess, if the wife's dead or something, but I don't know about if she's still alive. That's just disgusting shit that they kind of warn about in the Bible, right? Don't sleep with your stepdaughter before the wife has naturally passed. And don't knock her up or you go to hell.
some Russians.
Well, you probably go to hell for sleeping with the stepdaughter while the wife's still in the picture, right? I mean, if there's a God.
To sell them
If there's a
some
God.
ICBMs so that Musk could pretend to invest.
Boy, look at these CEOs drink this Diet Coke like they're about to start sucking on it like a big wiener. Man, like, I really could use like a bag of McDonald's here and like, you know, like a Texaco, like a Texaco sign for no reason.
Rockets.
These fucking tools and their Diet Coke.
The Russians weren't interested because Elon was not an astronaut, nor did
He was not a businessman, not an astronaut, not normal, not sane, not. I'm sorry.
possess any particular expertise about space.
He's not actually anything.
Just
He's just some nut from South Africa, huh?
a guy who liked space a lot. Undaunted.
I like space a lot, yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of good ideas, but sometimes I wonder if he's stealing them from me. What if I just told somebody 5 years ago how important space was compared to fighting wars on the planet level? And it kind of like rippled throughout the whole fucking universe or whatever, and then he heard it and then started repeating it. What if he's repeating my own theory back at me? Which is get out of the planetary wars. I don't think I ever heard another human being say this ever. Get out of the planetary wars and go to space now, right? And now I heard him say it. But I've been saying that since I was like 20.
Musk used his PayPal money to hire a bunch of people who did
Ooh, PayPal money. My $575. Wish I was kidding.
know what they were doing space-wise, and the company
Thanks. I guess I own a share in SpaceX now. You gonna pay me my $600 PayPal?
SpaceX
My legit $575 that I did real rides for, that I have verified fucking credit cards for, that, you know, you gonna give me my fucking money back, motherfuckers? So, oh yeah, and this, so get this, right? So when they froze the account, this put me in arrears, and then they ran a $4,000 negative charge on me on top of it. What was it? No, I'm sorry. That was something else. They towed my rental car to the airport, and then they charged my PayPal for the towed rental car, which was a $2,400 charge. It's not like I wanted them to tow my car from my fucking motel room parking lot spot to the fucking airport, right? and then back to the fucking Enterprise and then rekey the locks on the car because I wasn't in possession of the car that I rented anymore. So like I wanted them to do that. I just parked in the motel like I had been for 9 months, and they just decided to tow my fucking car, destroy my career as an Uber driver, put me in arrears with PayPal for $2,400, tow my car to the airport and then back to the... I mean, this is the kind of weird, dumb shit that fucking happened to me for no good goddamn reason at all. And you wonder why I don't want humans and don't want to talk to them or whatever? Like, god damn it, I remember that whole debacle, and I lost my fucking career as an Uber driver over that. I couldn't ever get the $3,000 to pay them to get another rental car to go back to work to pay them for the rental car that they towed for no reason. I just paid for the rental car. There was no reason for them to tow it. I still maintain to this day. I went down to their office like 7 times. I was like, I need you to tell me why you towed this car. I was parked legally in a motel. And they're like, well, the cops come through there and they run plates. And if they decide that you look sketch or like a drug dealer or something like that, they tow the car and then they have us figure it out later. And I was like, really? How do you know this? And they were like, well, because our rental cars get towed from hotel parking lots all the time. And I was like, really? So I shouldn't have parked your Uber car rental in the American hotel parking lot? And they were like, yeah, don't park in the American hotel parking lot with a nice rental car. They'll just tow it. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And that ended my career as an Uber driver, and I couldn't get my $675 back. Now I remember what all happened, right? Because I was on a lot of drugs. $675 fucking dollars went through. They just stole that, and they ran their $2,400 charge for towing the car through on the PayPal card that I used to secure the rental car. Against my will, without my permission or anything like that. And I kept saying, I'll take this to court, I'll fight you on it. And they're like, sure, fight us on it. We're Enterprise. We fight people in court all the time. That's literally what they say to you. They're like, we're Enterprise. We fight people in court all the time. Please do. They're like, please sue us. You know, we need the money. They'll say it right to your fucking face. And I was like, oh, okay. Why did you tow the car? And they were like, we didn't tow this car. The police towed the car. They won't give you a reason. That's up to them. But I mean, like, we don't know why somebody towed your car to the airport, but they did. And I was like, why did they tow it to the airport? Because it's a rental car. That's where Hertz rental car is. If you get a Hertz rental car towed in Denver, Colorado, it will be towed to the airport and then towed back. And this is the story I got. Then towed back to the Hertz at the Denver Center, and then we charge you $250 to rekey the locks on the cars because they towed it and you have the rental car key and we don't. And I was like, I could have just given you the car key. I gave it to you the day I came here to ask you why you towed it. And then I was like, I did give you the rental key. And they were like, well, the car, you know, the car sat in the fucking in the impound until you paid to get it out. And I was like, I didn't pay to get it out. And they were like, well, you should have paid to get it out. And I was like, why would I pay to get out a rental car from the, you know, it just kept getting worse from there. I was like, why would I pay for my car that was towed against my will illegally to be released from the impound? Why would I pay $2,400 for a car I don't own to be released from the impound lot because I didn't know it was in the impound lot? Why would you tow it to the airport first? Why was that much money? And why did you charge another $250 to bring it back? And they were like, well, this is how it all goes. We assume that you're either a bad actor or something's wrong or you're a drug addict or something and that you got your car towed and that something's wrong. So we just re-tow it, re-key it, and put it right back out there on the line and we sell it again. And I was like, okay, and that cost me how much? And they were like, yes, we just charged your PayPal card for $2,675. I was like, really? And they were like, yes, we successfully charged your PayPal card for $2,675. You don't owe us anything. And I was like, oh my fucking God. So I called PayPal and they're like, oh my God. I parked my car 3 weeks ago in a fucking hotel parking lot. They towed it overnight for no fucking reason. The plates and everything were good on it. There was no reason. The cops never did say why they towed that car. It was so fucking stupid. I just never talked to a cop who towed it, so they didn't have to supply me a reason. They were just like, it's in the fucking impound. We towed it from the hotel parking lot. You look suspect or something, I think was whatever they said. And I was like, okay, great. So, I must have looked like known drug traffic to them or something like that. So they towed the fucking car. And, like, that cost me $2,800. But, I mean, it didn't cost me $2,800. They just froze my goddamn PayPal account for 5 years. So eventually, we call them up. And we're like, I'd really like it if you would not, like, maybe let me use PayPal again, because all I did was park my car in a hotel parking lot, and then 5 days later, I suddenly owed some corporate entity $3,000, and I really feel like you kind of stole a car and blamed it on me, and if you don't work with me, I'm going to sue you in court and prove that you guys towed the car. Well, not that you guys towed the car, but that I'm going to prove that they towed the car for no reason. And B, that you let them charge me $2,600 without my permission. And then they worked with me. They were like, okay, if you pay, I think they were like, if you pay $109.15 or something, we'll just drop the whole entire thing, and we'll just unlock it all. You can have your original PayPal account back, and you can keep your second account open. They never did freeze my second account, but they were like, one day they were like, okay, you can't use this cell phone number that you used on the first account with the second account. They were like, we will not let you use this cell phone that was flagged on a flagged account with your second account. So you're either going to have to get a new cell phone number on this second account, or we're just going to close the account, one or the other, if you don't want to keep a cell phone on it. I was like, really? And as I recall, that is how I found out in the end. I don't think the Hertz told me that they charged me. I can't remember who told me that I owed $2,600. It was either the Hertz or the fucking PayPal. But one of them was like, you owe $2,675 for an impound release and and 2 tows to the airport and back, and a rekey on a car, 2 rekeys on, or I think it was it was a 1 rekey on a car, and that was $2,675. And they just charged it, so we paid them. And now you owe us, and you're in arrears to us for $2,675 or some shit. You got to pay us, or we're going to send really nasty dudes to your fucking house and call your phone all day. And I was like, oh my fucking God, are you serious? And I was like, all I did was park, and the PayPal person believed me. They were like, sir, I believe you. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, we're going to work with you on this one. We've never heard a crazy, crazy story like this, but we're starting to hear crazy, crazy stories like this. And then so she was like, for $109, and I forget what that was for. It was like the processing on the original 2 Square Trade things that set off my account in the first place. They're like, if you pay the original 80, whatever it was, the 8050 and the 4019 or whatever it was, that originally caused your account to flag in the first fucking place, we understand that probably wasn't you. But if you pay that, you're no longer in doubt with us, and that will enable me to unlock both of your accounts and let me use your cell phone on your second account now that you've had open for 5 years. And I was like, okay. And so now I've got a dead first account that's got a negative 2650 rating on it that never was paid, that they forgave essentially. And so I got PayPal to pay the Hertz rental. Oh, I didn't get them to do it. PayPal just paid the Hertz rental car without my permission. They just ran a $3,000 charge on an account that had $0 in it because they froze it. They let that charge go through for some fucking reason, even though the account had no money in it. PayPal let that fucking $3,000 charge go through. It was like $36.75 or some crazy shit. It was so much money. Or no, it was less than that. It was like $24.95. It was $2,400 and $95, something like that. It was so bad. And so at the end of it, I was like, well, I'm still a customer with PayPal. I didn't pay Hertz $2,500. PayPal did that and then forgave me for ever fucking with me in the first fucking place. I don't ever want to deal with PayPal again unless it's like automated and just enters into my bank account with a single click. I don't ever want to do any swipe transactions on a PayPal ever again. Like literally, I could sell t-shirts. If I was ever a famous streamer, I could go down to the fair and sell t-shirts with a credit card swiper, but I don't trust to run a credit card swiper on my PayPal account ever again after what they did to me. And so that's what I think of when I think of PayPal. And that's what this idiot bought, And I've got a story like this for Xfinity, who charged me $790 after I moved, and I physically legally proved to them. I had to physically legally prove to them that I had moved to Lahaina, Hawaii, right? to Lahaina, Hawaii from Denver, Colorado. And I had a business at that time. I had an eBay business, and I was selling stuff that I bought on in local stores on eBay, right? And I had a business account, and I was making only like $3,600 a year or something like this doing this, and I only did it for like a year. But I mean, like, you know, but I did do a small eBay business way back then. I tried everything in this world to get the humanity to let me live and pay for myself. I've done everything I could. I've worked every job there could be. I've never felt like, you know, it was fair. I never felt like it was fair, like I could get ahead with them. The rent was always more than my income was. You know, past the age of like, I don't know, 22, the rent was always more than my income was. I don't know how to deal with that. I was always in debt. It's so stupid. Debt with my family, my mother, you know. So that's what I think of PayPal. When I think of Xfinity, I think about how they charged me $790 and ran it against me and let it run to my credit, but to bad credit and to closure and all that, or whatever they call it. You know, when the bad credit agencies get a hold of it, it was a bad mark on my record. And all I did was close my fucking business account that I'd had for 3.5 years so I could move to Hawaii. That's all I did. I called them up and I was like, hey, I got this like slip from the power company saying that we're moving out of here, and I'm just like sending you guys the paperwork to prove that we're like leaving, and we'd like you to shut off our service now, please. And they were like, oh yeah, no problem, have a nice time in Hawaii. You know, yeah, we shut down your service now. We see that your business account is closed, and we're sorry that we're losing your business, but hey, if we ever open something out there in Lahaina, we'll open you back up again. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't think about it again for 10 months. Then I get this fucking call from Xfinity, and they're like, you owe us $790 and you better fucking pay or we'll never let you use this service ever again. And I was like, okay, why? And they were like, well, because you haven't paid for your business account for I believe it was 13 months, 9 months, something, 13 months, something like that. And I was paying business, which was 300 and, I don't know, it was 130. I think it was like 130 for business or something like that way back then in 2012 or something like that, I think it was. And so, you know, I'm like, you know, so I'm like, oh, okay. I moved to Lahaina. I sent you paperwork saying that not paperwork, but I sent the rental agreement showing you that the landlord has signed off on the place and it's shut off the utilities and stuff. And you know what they made me do? They made me contact the fucking install guy from fucking, I think it was like 13 months before, and get him to sign a fucking affidavit on my time. I had to call them 7 times to resolve this at 35 minutes of waiting for a fucking phone rep to get online with me. It's on each of the 7 fucking phone calls. And at the end of it, I'm like rubbing my nipple, you know, and I'm like, oh, you're just in this to hurt me, aren't you? It was just crazy. I was like rubbing my nipple on the phone and telling them about how bad I felt about them. It was just crazy. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude, I do not owe you $900. I moved to Hawaii 13 months ago. What the fuck are you talking about? And they kept calling, and they were like, you were in arrears for whatever they call it. You know, you owe us $790. And I was like, no, I don't. And then later on, I just let that go. I was like, dude, I did not pay for, I'm sorry, I did not use service in this apartment. Somebody else took that apartment over 13 months ago, and they probably opened service with you on top of it. Go and check. And I think one of them did confirm that the person currently living in the apartment that supposedly was supposed to be me was paying for Comcast. It was insane. It was just so stupid. They didn't know anything at all. They had no idea what anything of any of the side of that company was doing or anything like it at all. So I was like, I'm not paying you the $790. At this point, it's a matter of principle. I did not receive service for 13 months, and I will fight you in court. And they love hearing that. They're like, okay, well, fight us in court then. They love hearing that. They got buku lawyers all day. They love hearing that. They don't care about that. So like now, I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I go and contact the fucking the collection agency. And I'm like, here is the affidavit from the fucking phone repair person that uninstalled my service in this apartment 13 fucking months ago. It is the document that I will use against you and Xfinity when I am inevitably forced to combat them over this $800 that I don't have, that you've been burning my credit rating for 4 years over. And I was like, and I was like, you will drop this now. You will drop all of it now. I was like, you're not going to hear this from most customers, but I will sue you if you do not fucking drop this. I have the affidavit from the phone tech from the phone company themselves, who swore under legal oath and signed an affidavit to the company to prove that he had uninstalled my service 13 months ago. And I was like, you will take this paperwork and you will erase this debt, and they did. I talked my way out of an $800 fucking Xfinity bullshit thing. I was like, you will erase this off my, you will take this out of collections and you will erase this, because it is a fraudulent charge. I have the paperwork. You can call the goddamn, I was like, you call, I swear to God, if you take this any further with me, I will force you to call this technician on this phone line right now, and I will record this phone call and I will use it against you in a court of law. You will call this phone person now if you do not forgive this debt. And they did. I was like, you will call the phone person and and I will record you while you do it, and I will use it against you in a court of law while they tell you that they shut off this service. And that's how I got out of that. That's insane. And this is the treatment that I got from like Xfinity, fucking PayPal, fucking, the car tow agency fucked me. What was that? The cops fucked me. When they towed the car, it had $650 that I'd stolen from my fucking best friend. And and then there's a whole story to that, but I don't want to tell it. And I gave it all back, and I paid an interest too. I paid triple back, by the way. And it's not like since someone forgave him debt. I fixed that problem. I was not ashamed to do it, but anyways, I fixed that problem, and there was a reason that I did it, and they didn't mind it. We're all clear and hunky-dory on this. No one's pissed off about this one. There's no bad people sitting there waiting for me to die or something. Honestly, we are on really good terms still. I confessed to that one, and I paid my debt to it, and I paid out triple what it cost me. You know what I'm saying? And so in that car was $650 fucking dollars. When the cops towed that fucking car, I never saw any of my property in that car ever again, right? It was a white Malibu, really fancy one from 2021, and it was through Hire Car or something like that, which was also another really fucking, or no, I'm sorry, that car was not through Hire Car. I'm sorry, that was the other car, was Hire Car, but this one was the Hertz. That was the Hertz rental, right? The Hire Car was fine. I had no problem with them, but that fucking car. It was so stupid. My PlayStation 4 was in there. There were 7 games. There was a meth pipe, a weed pipe, a hash pipe. There was heroin and meth. There was like $650 in cash in the side view thing. And it had been there. That cash had been there for like 4 months or something like that. And the girl that I stole the money from used to sit in the fucking car, and she didn't know the cash was there. And I didn't want to give it back to her until I got what I want, what I wanted, which was like security. You know what I'm saying? I needed her to be safer than she was being with my future. She was being too loose with my details and such. And so I was like, okay, well, here you go. But I need you to understand, I will not just stand by while you do not protect me. You must protect me while I protect you. That's it. And that's how we ended up being best friends. It's kind of funny, but it is we extorted each other in a way, I think, but it's funny. Anyways, you meet the woman you love, and it's kind of funny. The first thing we did is basically extort each other. It was actually kind of funny. It was hilarious. But anyways, but I did mine on a whole different thing about teaching a lesson. She just likes getting money from men, and I don't mind that, actually. I've never minded it. I think it's actually very funny. And so and I tell her all the time, you go, girl, you get those single dollars. I'm not a hater. I don't care. Men are so stupid that, but anyways, so the car gets towed, and in it was a PlayStation 4 with 6 blue box games that were fucking $60 a piece. It was my PlayStation collection. I never saw it again. Never saw that PlayStation 4 ever again. PlayStation 4 Pro. There was a PlayStation 4 Pro in there with 6 blue boxes of games. There was I had to replace that. That sucked. There was all these implements and stuff for drugs. There was all this shit when they towed that car, right? And so I was terrified when they towed the car. I was like, oh, I'm busted for meth and heroin, and all my stuff's probably stolen, and all my cash is gone, and all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh no, I've been a drug dealer, and my drug car has been towed. You know, it was a terrible time. I was like, I'm a drug dealer, and my drug car was towed, and it was terrible. It really was. It was terrible. I lost like goddamn, I don't even know what it was. I didn't lose any money because of the tow. The fucking PayPal paid that of all people. But I mean, they tried to fuck me on it first, and then and then I did lose about $1,000 worth of goods in that car. It sucked. There was no insurance or anything, any coverage or anything at all. I never saw any of it ever again. And that $650, I'm fairly sure the cops just straight up pocketed that. I'm guarantee it. I went and found that car like 4 hours later, and that motherfucker was stripped. It was gone. Every last bit of everything that was in it, all the drugs, all the PlayStation stuff, all the money, everything in that car was gone. It had been deep cleaned in the 4 hours that they towed it. It felt like a robbery. I felt like somebody had robbed me. I mean, they did. They robbed me, but they didn't mean to. They just towed my car for no reason in a fucking hotel parking lot. And then I lost my PlayStation. This is the sort of stuff that happens to me. If something bad happens to me, it's catastrophic. It's always so bad for no reason. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. And so I'm reasonably dealing with all of these people because I'm terrified of them as identifying to the police that I'm some kind of drug agent or some kind of drug dealer, because I was a drug dealer, right? So every person that I met in all of this, from the cops to the fucking to the Hertz guy to the PayPal people to the to the rental car people who showed me the empty car, and I started bawling like a child because my PlayStation was gone. I started bawling. I was like, oh my god, there was like $575 worth of PlayStation stuff in here. My whole life was in this car. And they were like, yeah, it was all deep cleaned out when they towed it. It's all gone. And they were like, this was not an arrest. They didn't take any evidence. There was no evidence bag or anything that we were supposed to put in anything. We just deep dumped all that stuff out there at the airport. And when I saw the car, it was back at the Hertz rental. It was insane. I went out to the airport. They wouldn't let me see it. They wouldn't let me get to the car. They're like, nope, the car's been towed. It's been rekeyed. It's changed. And all the stuff in it has been emptied out. And it's been deep cleaned already in the last 4 hours. And it's already headed back to Denver. I was like, oh my God. And then when I got to Denver, they were like, yeah, nothing left. Not even the key. And I was like, okay. And that was the day that I lost, my Uber career, my PlayStation. I supposedly lost $2,600, but then eventually, 3 months later, after 3 months of stress and battles and phone calls and dealing with them all and understanding what happened and all this crazy shit, all I did was park my car, and they towed it for no goddamn reason. And that's not the first time either that they towed a rental car of mine for no reason. Down on Lincoln in Denver, they also towed me in my own goddamn parking spot one time, and that cost me another like $300 or something like that. They towed my fucking Nissan Altima from my own goddamn parking spot, and it was like the fanciest car on the motherfucking block, and it was a spot that I paid for the city for, and they just fucking towed my fucking car for no good goddamn reason. They see this like fancy Uber car that's sitting in like either a crappy crack motel or like a fucking like a sort of a rundown sort of middle class like street, and they see this fancy like $35,000 rental car, and they just get this weird urge to tow it and fuck you. I don't know why. It happened to me twice. It was so stupid. They just see a really nice car, and I was getting the car washed like every day, and you could tell had an Uber sticker in it. It was a really nice car, and they think it's funny to just tow it or something like that. That's what that felt like.
Blast it off.
It was a terrible disaster. It had such high costs. So to cover the $650 worth of cash that I stole from my friend to get her out of a bad situation, I stole money from my friend to so that she wouldn't like be in a bad situation anymore. I tried to show her that any profit that she would make would not be there anymore, And what it really was me just holding the money for a few months. You know, I admitted this to her too. I mean, she would tell you. You know, I admitted all of this to her. And I fessed up and I took all of it. And then I was like, I'm paying you back triple what I took. And I'm sorry. I tried to teach you a lesson here. And I broke down crying. I had a mental breakdown on the phone with her because I was like, the cops towed that car and they took that $650. And it took me 3 weeks to drum up the goddamn bravery to tell you what actually happened. Now I'm here today to pay you $600. I spent the last 3 weeks working to scrape up like $700 and shit really quickly, you know? And, like, it's hard when you don't have a car, you know, you had it motherfucking towed. And so, you know, it's hard when you don't have a car. So I worked hard as a drug dealer and a laptop screen person and all this, like, fucking side hustles and doing fucking odd jobs and shit. And I saved up fucking $650. And I was like, first of all, here's your $650. And I'm sorry it's been, like, 3 months. But she was like, you were the one who did that? And she was happy. She was like, you ripped me off? And I was like, yeah, I ripped you off. I didn't want you being in that situation. And I knew the only way you were ever going to leave that drug den is if your money was stolen. And so I did it. I went into the fucking motel room drug den and I stole her money out of the fucking side I'm not proud of this, but I mean I fessed up and I dealt with it too. And I stole her money out of the side fucking drawer and shit. And I knew she immediately left the room that day. I was like, yeah, I knew she would, and she did. I was like, the only way she's ever going to leave this place is if she understands that these people are just going to steal her money. So that's what I did. I stole her money, right? So then that sucked, right? So then they stole the $650 from me because I stole it from her. This is how fucking bad energy works, right? So then I had to go pay her the $650, and I had to scrabble the hardest I've ever had in my life to scrape that $650. But I believed in fixing it with her more than I ever did, like, you know, anything else in my life. And I fixed that with her. And I sat and I was like, here's the $650. I'm sorry it's 3 months late. You got to give me like another 10 days, and I'm going to give you another $650. And she was like, no, you aren't. And I was like, yes, I am. And she's like, no, you aren't. And I was like, yes, I am. I'm going to give you an extra $650 here. And then in another week, I'm going to give you another $650 to help you understand this was never about ripping you off. It was never about the money. It was never about the money. It never was, you know? It really wasn't. Those cops ripped me off. I kept that $650 sacred for 3 months and shit. And I was proud of it. I was like, they found it. I know how they found it, right? The $650 was in my fucking, a passenger side glove box in the fucking insurance thing. You know, those little black leather cases they give you for insurance cards and stuff. I hid $650 in there because I was like, in a couple of months, I'm going to return this money when I'm certain she won't spend it on drugs, right? And this was my ex, by the way. And it was just, and I was just, you know, because I was like, I feel like she's destroying herself, you know. If she has $700, she will use it and she will kill herself, you know. I did believe this. And so then I just gave her the $650, and then I gave her another $650, and then I gave her another goddamn $650, and I came up with $2,000 through drug sales and all kinds of shit over like a 6-week period or something, just to prove to her, because she was at the time and still remains to be the love of my life, and I didn't want to lose her, right? I was like, this could be like losing my wife if I don't make it right. And so I showed her. I was like, here's the $650 you originally lost. The day I confessed, I gave her the $650. I was like, here's the $650 right here and now, you know, and I'm sorry. And she was like, okay, well, you fixed it, you know. And she was like, most people wouldn't have fixed it. And I was like, I know. And then I was like, and you don't believe me, but in a week I'm going to show up with another $650, and then in another week I'm going to show up with another $650. And I did. I got paid out $1,800, and it was like $1,950 or something on that. I showed up with 3 $650 payments for her. One of them which I bought her something that she wanted instead of giving her the money. But yes, yeah. And so, and that helped repair our relationship, thank God. But I never did ever steal, like, ever again after that. I never did steal again. I'm never going to steal again. I told her as I handed her the $650, I was like, this stealing, it was to teach you a lesson. And I thought I was so clever. I thought I could just control your drug life and stop you from being a depraved drug addict. I thought I could just control your life by taking your money from you and giving it back to you later, like a fucking crazy manipulative asshole. And she didn't speak to me again for like a year and a half after that. But she did. She called me back one day. She was like, I believe you did the right thing, and I see that you tortured yourself over it, and I could see that you actually were trying to help me. I didn't believe it at first, but I do now. And I was like, yeah, I did not do this to hurt you. I really didn't, you know. But that hurt. That whole bit hurt. That 2000 was my re-up to like, because I had 2000, you know? I didn't have it all at once. It took me days, like weeks, to get it all together, definitely. But it took me a while. It took me weeks to get it all together. And then I just handed it to her. Because I was like, it's just not right what I did, and I'm sorry. And I confessed, and I was like, I can't believe I did this to you. I'm sorry that I tried to ruin your life by trying to control your money. I figured it was the only way that was going to get you to stop doing drugs and hanging out in motel rooms with losers who were going to rip you off like me, you know? I was like, I figured the only way you're going to stop doing it is if I just took your money and then you got no stake and you can't buy any drugs and you're not in there anymore, you know? And it worked, too. She left that place that day. She never went back to that room. She never, you know? It worked. But it also had terrible, terrible costs, you know?
Michael Griffin, that name sounds...
But I believed it to be the right move. I thought it was the only way I was ever going to get her out of that room. I still fundamentally believe that. I think she fundamentally believes that I fundamentally believe that, or she never would have forgave me. I was like, this was the only way. Tell me another way. I challenged her, and I was like, tell me another way I was going to get you out of there. And she's like, you're right, you know?
familiar.
That's because
I hate being right all the time. I'm like right all the time. It's so stupid. And even on the stupid things that I was wrong about for 15 fucking years, I always end up being right in the end. It's so annoying. I don't like being right all the time.
FD at NASA overseeing.
But I did what I did, and it worked. It worked, you know. And in the end, I slept better. At the end, I slept. The day after she left the room, I slept so much better for like 3 months. It changed my life. I was like such a better person. I was like doing better. I was like, oh my god, the stress of understanding that she's just trapped up in there. And you know,
private partnership programs, including something called the Commercial Orbital.
She's like in a fucking mess of her own, you know, of her own devices, you know, of a mess of her own making, you know. And I was like, I can't do it. The only way I'm ever going to get her out of here is just getting her drug money away from her, which is exactly what worked. It was what worked. It got her out of that mess. She stopped being a drug addict. She stopped fucking doing all that shit. She stopped, like, that was the catastrophic thing. She told me, she was like, losing all that money that I worked so fucking hard for all at once was like this catastrophic thing for me that just showed me how bad the scene was. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, and trust me, the reason that I did that to her, I told her when I confessed to her, I was like, the reason I did this to you is because someone else did it to me. Someone else when I was younger did it to me. My friend Ashley did it to me when I was much younger. My friend Ashley did that to me a bunch of times. She was like, you shouldn't be fucking around with meth. You're in love with Bonnie. Stop fucking around with meth. I'm taking your money. And I was like, what do you... And I was like, what? And this is one of my best friends, too. She's like, I'm taking your money. And she was like, stop fucking around with meth. You know you're in love with Bonnie. You're going to fuck up your life. Stop doing it. And she was, take my fucking money. She just take my money. And I'm like, what the fuck, Ashley? And she was like, nope. You know you're fucking up your life. I'm taking your money, right? And then she would give it back. Like 3 weeks later after I got sober. You know? She wasn't a thief. Neither was I, you know? And so I used stupid-ass Ashley's fucking thing to save me on my other friend. It was so fucking stupid. The whole thing. Drugs are so stupid. They make you do such stupid things.
Transportation services.
And I was so high. Like okay, like when I got... Okay, when they towed my car, we had been up for 3.5 days or something like that. I remember.
HOTS program. The program was...
We were in the American Hotel, living in a crack motel. I had been up for 3.5 days on meth, and so had she. It was fucked up when they towed that car.
Designed to enlist private companies in transporting people and supplies to and from the International Space Station.
Anyways, there's my little end story to finish out the you know, the madhouse that is my life and my stream, you know. I have no secrets, and I confess these things like a confessional because they need to be confessed to the public. I think I have been such an asshole that I don't really feel that, you know, I should ever be a role model. So I'm okay with not taking your money and just sitting here free for the rest of my life and just being an entertainer, you know? Because it's like, yeah, I did so many bad things, not like rape or murder or anything like that ever. Not ever. I didn't ever harm anybody. But boy, if there's anything else that you can do, I probably did it. So...
Under Griffin,
I think all the time about how that pretty much excludes me from being around normal people anymore.
only 2 private
That's
companies
sad.
were selected for the program. One of them was SpaceX, and thus began a long and fruitful career of SpaceX feeding from the prolific teeth.
So now my stream has gone 14 hours and 50 minutes. I'm going to publish everything that I just said because I am fearless and I don't care what people say. Cancel me if you want. I never had anything to cancel despite the 40,000 hours that I have worked trying to enrich the human race or myself, something like that. I've clocked 40,000 hours and I've got like nothing but a $30,000 show to home to show for it. Every way that you run this world is every bit of a scam as everything that I just said. Everything that I just said that I did, you know? The way you guys run the world is every bit a scam. If you hadn't run the world the way you did, I never would have done any of those things, you know?
$196 million contract from NASA. Meanwhile,
$96 million.
SpaceX didn't even have a rocket that worked.
Oh,
its Falcon 1
no.
program was sucking ass, unless you think a rocket that explodes can still be counted as a success. Its first 3 launches between 2006 and 2008 failed, putting the company on the brink of bankruptcy at the same time as Tesla and Musk himself in late 2008. But then
I want to finish this, guys, but I'm physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally exhausted. We held confessional down here on a Tuesday night into a Wednesday fucking morning at 10 in the morning. I got dinner with the family here in 7 hours, and I got to go to bed. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. You have been watching Skycat Live. I hope my crazy stories scare you away. I'm not a good person. Don't watch me. I'm kidding. But I'm being honest. And but I told myself I wouldn't lie to you guys. I promised myself I wouldn't. When I started this, I was like, I won't lie about anything that I did, you know, even the darkest, stupidest shit. But I think all of it was forgivable and has been forgiven. Even the system has forgiven me. I have nobody that yeah, there's a few people left, yeah, but there's not like anybody that I know, and no, there's nobody that I know that I ever crossed that I didn't pay tenfold. Everything's been fixed. All of my transgressions, I can sleep, like I go and I sleep like a fucking baby every single fucking night. You know, I have insomnia for all my life, but I use sleeping pills to get around that. And I will go and sleep like a fucking baby, and I have never had a fucking nightmare. You understand? I've never had a nightmare in my whole life because I've never done anything to anybody that I didn't really, really, really make up for, you know? Every time I ever made a transgression against somebody, I explained to them what it was. I explained why I did it, and it was never out of some sloth or something like that. It's always another reason, right? And I fix it, you know? This is how I still sleep at night, despite having lived a kingpin life, having ripped her off for $650, having to make the confessional in front of people and shit. I'm not proud of it, but I mean, I did it, so... And I made my amends, I said my restitutions, I made my confessional, I paid out triple fold to show her it wasn't about the money, it was about the principle of the fucking matter, and I showed her it wasn't about, like, harming her, you know, and I paid out triple to show her that maybe in the end it was maybe a good thing that it happened, because in the end she made triple the money. So, try to show her that if I'm going to hurt her, it'll, you know, I'll hug her afterwards, kind of thing. For triple of whatever I hurt her for, kind of thing, because it's like, god damn it, man, that was such a bad move. That's the worst thing I ever did, hands down. But it was a good thing. I think it had a really good result. I think even she would say that. I think it would. I think she would. I think she would say it was a good thing in the end. She made more money. She got out of that situation. She changed her life, and I think it was a good thing.
SpaceX.
You ever have like a wake-up call moment where your friend's just ready to rip you off if need be to just stop you from destroying yourself? Whatever it takes at that point. You ever been at rock bottom as a junkie and had your friends take your money from you? Because I have. Like 4 times. It's not fun.
He's got it on the 4th try, and as a prize for his company's one successful launch, Elon was given a $1.6 billion NASA contract that December, and it all blew up from there, both literally and figuratively.
Aaron, I think that when a SpaceX rocket explodes...
I love talking about my friend A. I said her full name earlier, and I realized that's a mistake, but I mean, I know many Ashleys, actually. I know about 35 Ashleys. And some of them I'm in love with, too. Which is kind of fucked up. I know 3 Ashleys that I'm in love with. I'm dead serious. In love with them. I would date them and marry them today.
Assholes
No problem.
Each other over like bankers in sweatpants.
And oh my God, Brooke's sister Ashley. Oh my God, I was fucking in love with Ashley. She has got to be the hottest girl on the fucking planet, almost. Not quite, not as hot as someone else, but yeah. So I was in love with my friend L's ex-girlfriend's sister A, and she's one of the 30 or so Ashleys that I know. And I can say her name because I know 30 Ashleys is the first thing. I know many more Ashleys than I should know. And then the other problem, and some of them are very dear friends too. They're all sisters or brothers of friends of mine. I know many Ashleys, so I can say her name out loud, and all of my friends could forgive me for getting her confused with one of the 16 Ashleys that we all know, right? So it's okay to say one of their names, I think, right? But mainly, she's also a really wonderful person who has worked really hard as a trucker for about 15 years now. And at one time, she was in jail for all that methamphetamine shit that we all kind of went through, hurt by the cold, right? But she did her time up there north. As she got out of it, and she and our friend M kind of had a bad time there. But anyways, yeah. And so she would go on and do some stuff to kind of try and save my life by taking my money from me, which is how I learned how to take her money from her when she was at rock bottom. And I had to do a nasty thing to get to that money. Oh boy. I had to commit a hotel robbery. Oh my God. I had to climb the fucking lattice to the second floor of a Comfort Inn, and then pop the door chain while they were out eating dinner. Pop the door chain and then go in there and look for the money in the dresser. And then I left out the door chain. I had to pop the door chain. I couldn't pop the door chain, so I had to like re-slide the lock and then leave through the window, as I recall. Yeah. And boy, that was the worst thing I ever did, hands down. But I mean, I paid for it triple fold. I confessed in front of God and my father's grave and the woman that I had trespassed against and all this shit. And I told her why I did it, and I proved to her it wasn't about money and all this. And I was like, "This and didn't it help you, didn't it? You know?" I was like, "I'm sorry," and I was crying when I said it, but I was like, "Didn't it help you, didn't it?" And she's like, "Yep, it changed my life. Thank you." And I was like, "I can't believe you're thanking me for doing this." Well, she was like, "Well, you did pay the $650." I was like, "Yeah." Fucking $650 for that mess. It was shitty when I opened the drawer because I saw all that money and I was like, oh my God, I thought this was going to be like $215. It was $685. And I took all of it because I was like, well, if I'm taking any of it, I'm taking all of it. I wanted to be like, what if I just take half? I sat there deliberating like fucking, like Shane Dawson or something. I was like, should I take half of it? Should I take all of it? What's the play here? Because it's like, I know if all the money is gone, she's going to leave this place. But I can't really handle taking this much money. It seems insane. It was insane. It was insane. It was... You know, I've never been a money theft person. That was the one and only time I ever did steal any money from anybody, I believe, actually. That is the only time. I could say it honestly. Like, no, that's true. I believe that is the one and only time I've ever stole money from anybody. You know, and it was to prove a fucking point. I always do stupid shit like this. I try to run people's lives. One of the reasons that I don't talk to my friend that I just did 8 hours of a stream for, and I don't talk to him very often. You know, he's a wonderful friend, but I don't talk to him very often because, I feel like when I'm in their lives, I'm always trying to hook them up with someone. And I'm always trying to get them a better job, and I'm always trying to get them out of some bad situation, or I'm trying to get them to form some crew with me and go start a fucking crazy crusade to get out of poverty or something like that. I'm always trying to fucking enrich everybody I ever meet through some manipulative way. It's always manipulative. And none of them have ever despised it to the point where they hated me, but it is usually in some really clear manipulative way to prove some fucking point, like I'm their fucking father or something like that. And I've ran my crew in some variation or other variation for a long fucking time. And if I didn't do it, my best friend did. And when I left, my best friend took over. You know, but for a while there, I kind of did run my crew. I mean, he was the de facto leader, and everybody was worshiping him, not me. But I ran the crew. I decided what drugs we did. I decided what friends we had. I decided where we went most of the time, or what we did. I decided who was cool and who wasn't. I decided if we were okay with someone or not. Like, I was like the leader of the group. It's stupid like that. None of them are aggressive like that, but I am, and it's annoying. I can't. There's certain people that I won't do if I can't stand them. You know, if I can't work with them. You know. And so that whole fucking mess, that fucking sucked. So I had to go to him. I had to go to my spiritual advisor and tell him what I did. I had to tell her, confess, and pay triple fold. I had to tell my mother. I had to tell I'm telling you, you know, because this was not a secret what I did here. This is some secret that she wants to kill me over or something like that, right? This is like actual, like the truth. Like, we're great friends. If I hadn't done that, we probably wouldn't be, you know? I hate to say it, but if I hadn't done that, I don't think we would be friends. I don't think she ever would have called me back, you know? I don't think so. Something about that. I think it was like the right thing to do. How is the wrong thing the right thing? It's so stupid. Some of them, the really right thing for them is for you to get them high. Like, some of them are like that. They're like the really right thing for you, and you're looking at them and be like, no, I'm not introducing you to hard drugs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not doing that. I said no a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? I said no to a bunch of women a bunch of fucking times. I am not weak. I said no, and they hit you with language like this. They're like, you know that yes is the right answer, right? You know that I want it, right? And it doesn't matter what you do, right? And it doesn't matter if you say no to me. I'll go get it if I want it, right? I want to see what it is, right? I had like 4 women do that to me. Like 4 women. Like, Jesus Christ, they're like, you know, they're like, you know that I'm going to get what I want here, right? And I do. I'm very aware of that. I'm aware that they are. So I just give it to them when they demand it, because it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, okay. I used to sell heroin, and like, fucking Jesus fucking Christ. Like, when I started that, he told me, he was like, you're not going to like the clientele. That's all he would say. He was like, I will not warn you. You're going to have bad times here. They're going to try and rob you. And if you don't learn what their tricks are by just letting them run them on you, you won't get strong, and I'll back you. And if it's a bad robbery, I'll deal with them. And if it's a low one, we'll just comp you. Okay. And he was like, trust me, these are my people. I know they will try to rip you off. They will give you fake bills. They will fuck with you. They will set up meetings that don't occur, all types of shit like that. And he was like, I will back you on all of this, and I will make it okay. But he was like, you know, understand that you will not like the clientele, you know? And one of the things I began to realize is every time that you sell black heroin, you are essentially killing that person. Even if you do it once, you have now put a death sentence on that person, you know? I did that a lot. At their behest. A lot of them are demanding it from you. They're like demanding you and maybe scaring you if you don't do it, you know? So, I mean, I did it at the behest of them. I did not do it at my own desire. And the only reason I took that deal was because it was the only way to get into the Kingpin circle. He was like, well, you can be a Kingpin. He was very honest with me. I love my old guy P. He was like, yeah, well, I'm going to be very honest with you because you're not an idiot like the rest of these motherfuckers who are just doing this for the clout or the money or whatever, right? He was like, I can tell that you're actually trying to maybe help some people and get something done here, and that you're not an idiot, and that you don't get high on your own supply, and you know, keep the stash where you live and all this other stuff that they do. And he was like, I can see you being very successful at this. So I'm going to tell you one thing and only one thing. You know, well, he told me 2 things. He was like, if you want to get into the Kingpin circle, you have to sell heroin. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, you can sell meth for the rest of your life if you want, but you're going to have to sell heroin if you want to get in the Kingpin circle. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, you're going to have to sell everything if you want to be in the Kingpin circle. He was like, you're going to have to sell everything. And I was like, oh, okay. And the second thing he told me is you're not going to like the clientele, so don't take the offer. And I took the offer because I had a junkie girlfriend who needed heroin. So anyways, you know, I love telling these stories, but it is a fun little confessional, you know? I wish I was making them all up, but I'm not, you know? And so I learned one little drug fiend girl's solution to my depravity was another little drug fiend boy's solution to his girlfriend's depravity. Maybe all of our depravity cures all of our depravity somehow. I mean, I don't think that's how it works, but like, I swear to God, someone depravedly stole $150 from me right to my face and was like, I'm taking your money and I'm not giving it back. And I was like, okay, well, you're a girl, I can't do anything about that. And she was like, that's correct. And she did give it back to me like 3 weeks later, but she was like, I'm taking your money before you kill yourself, you know? And so then I took that somewhere else. Why did I take that somewhere else? I could have just not been a bad person, you know? I could have not gone to hell. But instead, I took that somewhere else, and I saved a soul. But I also, oftentimes, you'll understand, you kind of wheel and deal with the devil to get it. You know, you save your soul, but you wheel and deal and lose your soul to get it. You know, it's stupid. It's always like a give and take thing. It's so stupid. So I feel like I saved a soul that I still love and would die for, who is my best friend, and I do not feel any shame whatsoever doing what I did. And I think it had a good outcome in the end. But I did essentially I committed my soul to an eternal torture, or whatever you believe in, 1,000 years in the gullet of the sand beast at the bottom of Tatooine, or whatever, right? Or I'm sorry, it's Tatooine, right? Like, you know, 1,000 years in the stomach of Satan, right? Is what I'm gonna get for what I did to her. No regrets. I love her, and I do not regret it. And it was stupid, and my solution was not a solution, and it did not fix anything. I will admit it, and it was not righteous, and it was not right to do, and it was stealing, and two wrongs do not make a right, and I will pay for all eternity for it. You know? That was the bad one. That was the bad one that will torch my soul for the rest of eternity. I don't need anybody to attack me. Trust me. They're going to come with the burning pitchforks. You don't need to attack. You can just chill and fucking wait. And like, trust me, I'm going to hit you with the old guy wisdom again, right? To quote the great Liu Shang, if you sit by the river long enough, the corpse of your enemy will float by. My corpse will float by. You do not need to attack me. Don't worry. And after that, after the corpse floats by, trust me, you don't need to attack me or raid me or do any stupid shit like that, right? I will face 1,000 years in the bottom of the gullet of the sand demon at the bottom of Tatooine. You know, the endless torture for 1,000 years as it digests you, right? At the end of it, I will get mine. No, don't worry. So you needn't attack me. I have enough problems as it is. And on that wonderful note, I will say I love you guys. Thank you for paying attention to my craziness, and I will publish this. I don't care. It will be published tonight. I like spilling the fucking tea. I don't care. I view it as my own redemption. I have no shame or fear of it. I do not care. I love you guys. Thank you for paying attention to me when I did not pay attention to you. This website is skycat.live. I am skycat.live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucking every day. 15 hours, baby. 15 hours. Baby, do it again tonight. Do it again tonight. So I'm going to click on the cat's face to donate. Or you're going to click... Oh, wait. Which one is... Oh, wait. You're going to click on the cat's face to donate. You're going to click on the cat's face to donate. And you're going to come to the Twitch and you're going to sub to me, or you're going to come to YouTube and give me a follow or a like sub, and you're going to support me because I love you. And I love you. And I just want to touch your behind. And it is 15:05 here. It's 15 hours and 5 minutes. I will leave you with the final two reminders. One is three reminders. One is keep your motherfucking stick on the ice. Number two is this whole 15-hour and 3-minute session, 4-minute session, 5-minute session was recorded and will be placed on my YouTube video in the next 12 hours. And the third thing was I love you. Bye. What a good session.